तो यार लैग होता है
दामी खेल्ने यार यिनीहरूले
लाला है फेरि सर
आइसक्यो
Yeah, we have a lot of trees. Are we gonna pop it now? Ready? Yeah. I have zero T. Listen, there's
ये
only
लिखा है
17
कि
alive.
स्प्रे
I
हाँ
think we might land on the
खाँदैन रुक्छ नि त
Wait, can we land on this roof? We landed on this roof. Yeah. It's open.
ओ त्यही एउटा लिखाइ छ यो
This team can shoot us, by the way. They can shoot us. You have to shoot back. They're not safe, though. They're not safe. It's fine. You can LOS them. Come to me. I'm healing right now. LOS them. Be careful below. We're not safe here. We are not safe here. It's a roof on the building. I'm batting right now.
यस्तरी खेल्छ है आमा टुर्नामेन्ट
Can we play below left? Can we go left? Is there people below us? Yeah, there is.
बिहान
टुर्नामेन्ट हो कि हो सर यो
ल्यान हो
Down here. Nobody down there right now.
फेस क्याम छ नि त अनि कसरी
अहिले अहिले आएको छैन अलिकति इस्यु आइरहेको छ अरे त्यसैले उ गरिरहेको छ
And we're back with TSM. 8 kills to their name, almost 2k damage for Verhulst. What a series from them.
What a start too. They immediately were calling out, but
आमो
सबले आने हेर यिनीहरूलाई
सबले टिएसएमलाई बेलाएछ क्या फेरि
उता पऱ्यो
ल पऱ्यो पऱ्यो अब चाहिँ दामी पऱ्यो उता
टिएसएम सबभन्दा सेफ रहेछ यार होइन
I've seen in the lobby before. They have complete control of that side of the
माथि
map
हेर
here up north with every other team just vying for these buildings and positions. TSM, depending what zone's pulling, which is fairly central.
सब हेरौँ त
आमा
वाट्सनको
Five squads left right now. Moist Esports, Pulverex, Xset, TSM, 100 threes out here.
पाँचवटा
inside of this
स्क्वाड बाँकी
lobby, and
हजुर
they're trying to wave off all the other pressure that they're getting.
TSM
between the
third
windows.
हुन्छ
The
लास्टमा
Tar
थाहा
Tribe
भएपछि
was trying to greet, and even a player trying to climb on top of their building.
That's right. Another opportunity. PK in front of them. Gonna connect for a bit of damage here.
हेर न
100 thieves.
गुगलमा
Right below them on low ground. Look, I just predicted who we
Second
thought would
हुन्छ
maybe
क्या हो
win this
TSM
competition. I have 100 thieves. It's kind of a risky, bold pick. This is why. They show up
Okay.
when it matters. They've proven it
Oh,
time
God.
and time again. All 3 members of 100 thieves alive and well with 1 kill point to their name.
Absolutely beautiful right here too, because this is their game plan to play the end circle, play the crypto, to play the Loba. They could finally contest other squads that throw out the Seer ult in case that they have the EMP available to them. But they're trying to forcibly
Watch
pressure
body
out this
on
squad.
that,
They break the Watson fences. They have so many nades right now to work with. Look at Baxon. He's got 3 nades right now.
You think he'd be running Fuse? No. It's a Val Crypto Loba comp for 100 Thieves, changing up. If you watch a lot of Pro League, their Newcastle and Watson team composition, they said there's just too many cryptos in
Oi,
the lobby
Ramati,
that basically
के हो यो?
delete Watson's
Yes,
pipeline.
sub गर्न लाग्यो
They
क्या
actually opted against
What the?
Newcastle and Watson for champs.
क्यामेरा एङ्गल भनेको मैले
It's a nice little experiment here, but sometimes a little risky too if you're out of your comfort zone. The Bangalore smoke, I mean, we'll take that real quick here if you have to get some extra cover, but there's still that squad that's right above you. Another squad also taking the 2nd floor. So there's 3 squads in this building alone with 100 thieves included.
Yeah, very easy use of nades here. Very liberal use of nades from
100
100
Thieves,
Thieves.
4th
TVX,
हुन्छ
Wolfrex on top. One of them's going to go down. Bangalore ult's going to drop. TSM damaged, but again, the head glitching and the cover that they have from that wall is great. TSM's going to fry. 13 points total. Pulverex is out. Moist and 100 Thieves going to trade kills, but TSM is prominent. They are frying with the G7 Scout flatline.
It is a buffet here, but look, they are in the open line of sight of Xset right now. 1v1 between Xset and TSM. Trying to dive on top of them.
Yeah,
It's
out
only
of-
up to Hal, and
Xset ले
Xset
जीते।
with the better position, getting out of the fray. Take out TSM, and are your winners for game 1.
सेकेन्ड भयो
Welcome
होइन
back to ALGS Xset with the victory in game number 1. And how
28 point
symbolic
उठायो,
is that, Mickey? Arguably the best 2 teams in the world coming into this tournament.
त्यो उ
Xset
रेडी
and
पार
TSM
के अरे
are your
बुकमा
top
गरेर
2,
राखन
but Xset on top. Is that foreshadowing? We'll see.
Remember their positioning at the very late game too, Follow. You saw them looking at all the chaos going down in Cascade Falls, playing off the back, Hotsig, having a conversation real quick with the rest of his players, trying to see what they got
म
into
पछि
out
हेर्छु
here,
क्या
because they are looking to stay on top.
हेर छैन
मोनिटर हेर न केटा
Ghost of Nocturnal here.
27 इन्च होला हेर यो त
Not on display.
क्यामेरा हेर न
Why
म्याच झन्
that is, well, Nocturnal mentioned and announced on Twitter, unfortunately,
XLR छ क्या अब
COVID
क्यामेराको
seems like
पनि
an alternate location right
USB
now.
होइन क्या
Great that he still gets to play with his team, and great that they still ended up with the win here. Clearly,
Go
they're
XLR,
not
huh?
taking any steps back as a result.
The way you said that too, Follow, is it's just the empty chair. It's like, all right, we are out here.
Wait.
Xset, we are in spirit, but they truly are bringing everything out. Much love goes up to Knocked Out here
यो त
too.
एलियन
Xset
कमान्डर
taking
होइन
that first
सर
game. What a good game though.
27
KP that
200
TSM also
27 to
managed to-
40
I'm interested to see how much KP Xset got, who's on top of the standings. And guess what? To break it all down, we're going to go ahead and throw it back to the desk. We got Rain Day, Spider Tiff, and Genome. Take it away.
What a game 1 to start things off here in London at the Copper Box Arena. That is how you kick off your Split 1 playoffs. Rain Day, Spider, Tiff, Genome here on the desk to break it down and talk about those highlights. Tiff, it was a game of many moments that took our breath away. Noticeably as well, a lot of hype from the TSM supporters here in the crowd when Verhulst went off. What a game from him. 6 kills, I believe, in game 1.
Look, as soon as I saw Alliance rotating towards the wall with TSM there, I was like, bro, this is their play.
Guys, this is ALGS year 3, eh?
Area, like the back of their
What's
hand,
party?
top spot POI, they're comfortable there. And the moment that Big E, Verhulst, decides to clutch that up, I'm screaming backstage. Everyone is like, this is insane. But those are the moments that Raven instilled so much confidence in. They are not afraid to take any fight. They have done the work, and it shows.
यसलाई त यही कपाल समातेर नहलाई
Ram, yes, exactly, bro. Fuck you.
So many others. The amount of resets that TSM got in that game is just unfathomable, all until the very last moment.
And they couldn't do too much of that. I also want to point out, just because of the fact that that was such a difficult fight, and TSM were so good at it, how well Alliance was playing to counter TSM. It was 51-49, 49-51 for about a minute and a half until TSM finally got that first knock. An incredible moment too as well, but how can we not talk about the team that took over late game? They kind of snuck in there. They're playing with the ghost of Nocturnal, it looks like. He's not in the chair, but they know about it. Xset, a huge performance. Fun, 8 kills on the day. Nock had 6. I mean, Gino, Xset are coming to play.
Yeah, I was expecting to turn up, and they proved me right pretty damn quickly. I was an incredible
think with the like on the stream
as well. You know,
guys, are on the stream. I like
those teams that really love to play for that end game, and you saw why there. I mean, to be fair, very favorable circle pull for them, right? Saw them, Moist Esports, who also drop at the skill in that mid-map area. They had very quick rotates in there, so they both managed to read that zone perfectly and get and pull up position there very quickly. That means even though TSM are pulling in there with all of this, you know, loot that they got from running through a bunch of other teams on the way there, except unfortunately had too much space, and you know, it was just too many for TSM to pull through right at that
त्यो स्टिक ड्रिफ्ट मिलाउनु पर्छ सर अनि त्यो के अरे कन्ट्रोलरको सेन्सी हुन्छ नि लिनियर 3-3 हो क्या एकदमै बेस्ट अनि उसको नत्र भेरल्सको हेरे हुन्छ टिएसएम भेरल्सको सेटिङ हेरेर त्यो अनुसार खेल्यो भने दामी हुन्छ तर हुन्छ नि अब ल कन्ट्रोलमा खेल्यो भन्ने बित्तिकै अब झ्याप्पै एसिस्ट हुने भन्ने हुँदैन त्यो अनुसार हामीले हुन्छ नि ट्र्याकिङ चाहिँ गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ क्या हैन गेम प्याडमा ट्र्याकिङ चाहिँ गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ तर ट्र्याकिङ गर्दाखेरि हुन्छ नि त्यो मिलाउन मिल्छ क्या
हैन सर
माउसमा चाहिँ के मुला हलाउनु पर्छ क्या
माउसमा छुट्छ हो मुला देख्नलाई एम असिस्ट टाक्सिन्छ नि एटलिस्ट
and I believe it was oh excuse me, that was Sykes with 8 kills. My goodness, Sykes.
तिमीले माउसमा लेफ्ट राइट गर्न सक्छौ र गेम प्याडमा लेफ्ट राइट गर्न सक्छौ भने गेम प्याड गोलीको बढी गोली लाग्छ के
That's impressive. Look, I know we started off watching map number 1 with TSM, taking that fight against Alliance, having Flora go in there with the third party.
Easy diamond.
But when did that happen? Because I did not catch that at all. That's 16 eliminations. That's almost a third of the entire lobby. Xset, bro, they're right there, guys. Hype them up because this is insane.
एक महिना ग्राइन्ड हान्नु पर्छ तर लगातार
Very well deserved. That is how you want to pop off the dream pop.
Yo.
आज 2.9 के बम निकालेको सर आज पाउँछ मैले 3 के नै भएन के तर सेकेन्ड भएको के सर
के हो त पाउँछ सर 2.5 के को पाउँछ नि
2.9 को छ मसँग सर
ह्यामर भने हो
2.9 के सर 2.9
Yeah, and I mean Alliance is a team that we've seen do very well in groups.
एउटा स्नाइपरको गोली लागो अनि हुन्छ तर मसँग R301 र कारएसएम जित्यो
I think honestly if Alliance have any chance of
त्यो उसमा के रे त्यो त्यो फाल्ने के सर त्यो जति हाइटबाट खस्दा पनि स्वार र जान्छ बग्ने होराइजन हैन
यस
त्यो लिएर खेलाएको थियो के अनि फ्र्यागमेन्टमा त्यो उसमा त्यो लिफ्टै लिफ्ट भएको घर के त्यहाँ झरेको सर चारवटा स्क्वाड वाइप सर स्पिड फायर र फ्ल्याट लाइन पाएको के सर
Also, shout out to some of our South American teams there.
मजाले हान्यो
Godfire, you
सर
got Leave
एकछिन
No
जाने
Witness. I
पर्पल
talked to
सिल्ड
some of the
स्पिल
guys
फायर
in
र
Blue
फ्ल्याट लाइट
Lotus.
त्यो गेम
Lucky
त
Kid
अनि
represented Chile,
बटा टाटा
represented
टाटा
Impact North here in this. We've got teams from Europe, we've got teams from North America. I know the story seems
के हो
like
यसको
some of the teams we talk
अनुहार त
about
मुख
are
भरि के
still
हो
being talked about, but it's going to change.
Poo.
It's going to be a tournament that I think tells itself over several days, and that's the thing Tiff, people have to keep in mind. You have to run this like a marathon.
Yes, that's a really valid point. Consistency is key, and that's going to be the story throughout the entirety of this because you need
Discord
to
mute
make
गराइदिनु न
it to
सर
that
स्ट्रिममा
match point finals. Yes,
कसरी
Set won the first game here, and
अब यो
notoriously
OBS मा
that's a
हाल्ने
little
होला
different for them.
सायद
It's
त्यो
exciting,
Yeah,
right? But we want to get to
पागल
that
जस्तो एक्लै
match
बोला
on
जस्तो
Sunday
सुन्छ
where they can hit that 50-point
डेस्कटप फेरि
threshold.
आफ्नो
डेस्कटप
माइक पनि
अडियो
भन्दा अरे
होइन डेस्कटप अडियो क्याप्चर मिल्दैन कि फेरि सिंगल सिंगल एप्लिकेसन अडियो क्याप्चर गर्नुपर्छ
सबै हाल्ने हो
Talk with you
सँगै
about that as well, but also, of course, Xset, a 28-point start. That's about as good as it can get. It's just game one here. We're still in London. Split one playoffs underway. We'll be back in just a moment with game two. Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the
सर कपिराइट
Apex
लाग्ला है अब
Legends
त
Global Series.
जेरो अडियो अब चाहिँ
भिडियो फेरि
भिडियो त लाग्दैन
के हो 1 आवर अन्टिल रे
होइन 1 मिनट हो
ए
एक एक घन्टाको ब्रेक लिन थाल्यो भने त एलजिएस होइन एलजिएस हुन्छ
अब चाहिँ टिएसएमको हेर्नुपर्छ यार
भाइ आर यु गे
त्यो एक्सिडेन्टले कत्रो किल हानेको हौ सर 16 किल रे हौ आम्मामा
यस
टिएसएमको
दामी होइन 9 हो
9 किल हो सर 9
प्लेसमेन्ट 4 मात्र आएको
सेकेन्ड हो
प्लेसमेन्ट त उनीहरूलाई 9 आएको नि सेकेन्डको अनि 9+9 18 भएको थियो नि त
18
18 थियो मैले 13 देखेको
सुरुको फर्स्ट दुईटा फाइट त ओहो
ओ दामी हो यार टिएसएम दामी
दामी
अनि एक्सेटको चाहिँ किल उठेको चाहिँ सबै त्यो बिचको फाइटमा उठायो क्या उनीहरूको भर्खरै त्यो लास्टको फाइटहरू थियो नि
तिनीहरूको प्लेसमेन्टहरू सबै मिलिरहेको थियो ठ्याक्कै मिलिरहेको थियो टिएसएमलाई यता ठ्याक्क हाललाई उठाउँदाखेरि बिच मिड फाइटमा
These guys are ready to show how it's done. These guys are ready to. Man, line
These guys are ready to choke on those.
Choke on them nodes.
अरु कुराहरु नभनौं सर स्ट्रिम छ हैन
Oh, WD Black.
WD
and black.
Oh, bikini ki oh, bikini kitty.
Oh my god, brunette छ त नि
Right.
It's black.
They land in Cascade Falls, and the way that they were able to position themselves
Solid
outside
ball.
of the
Yeah,
rim,
like-
outside of what was going on with the rotations happening on the southern side of that final circle was amazing because
Super
you saw them
naughty.
end with 16 KP to their name, double digits already off the rip after that. Game one is going to be able to skyrocket them in the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, I'd say unless you're watching on Kill Feed or watching, of course, on multi-view, you may have missed Xset just dominating. We missed a little bit of on screen as we were watching a couple other fights on the map, but wow,
Yeah, I think with the
16
like.
kills to start a 28-point game, and right now TSM Xset with a margin. However, we did see Pulverex, a team that
As you can send me stars too.
because they had two players. They make it to late game, they get themselves
सब ठिक छ दाइ
representing Apex
तपाईलाई
North right now.
कस्तो
They're
छ
rocking the star trio though
तेरो
out
के
here
कस्तो छ
in
हालखबर
Atlanta.
अहिले
You love to see it out here too. TSM, 100 Thieves, Moist, Pulvereds, Exit, the top 5 squads after that last game. Alliance 2, you see, I love the fan love out here in the audience. Shout out to you guys here, making your way over to London to make sure you guys can support your favorite team.
I see a couple beverages as you'd expect here in London. Big shout out to everyone showing up on a Thursday.
Yeah, thank you
Look,
for
if
the
you
like.
skipped work today or school, let me hear it to be here for ALGS.
Share line धेरै
Big shout out to every
जनालाई
single one of y'all. Appreciate you on this Thursday.
शेयर गरिदिनु होला सबैजनाले स्ट्रिम है
I don't blame them. I mean, look at the action we already got off the rip after that game one. Are you kidding me?
Nine ass
Also,
Neymar.
talking about TSM, talking about what we saw between their fight between
Kiन कहाँनिर
Alliance
गएको यो?
and Flora.
को हो यो?
They had no reason to
Sir, why you
quickly
being
rotate
racist?
out of the wall. You saw that already off the rip. Verhul's got the scan on the beacon
You
to the
again being
south.
racist,
We saw
sir.
that maybe a potential 50-50. You saw Doc try to back him up real quick before Xset just backed away in time. But there was a lot to digest
sir,
with
ultra
why
wide
TSM stayed there.
racist moron.
Alliance trying to rotate
Yeah,
behind them,
chill.
seeing that TSM was still there. And the
कहाँ छ सर त्यसमा रेसिजम मैले कुरै बुझिनँ
खोइ त यो different view नै आएन क्या
themselves with 9 kills, so we didn't see much of it on screen or in the leaderboards, but they of course are going to sit
Try
with the
गरौँ
top
त
7 as
यसो
well as a result of their
सरले
performance. South America
डाइसेक्सन गर्नुपर्छ
didn't
कि
see a
सर
whole lot of them in the overall.
दालबाट तैँले भेट्छ अहिले लाइक हान सेयर हान भिडियो
We were talking to a few players. I was talking to IG, and they mentioned
Discord
that
आमा
Bin
भनौँ
on
न
this
सर
team
कहाँ
might
लाइक
be
भिडियो
Discord
and slept-on player in the
Yeah,
world.
man.
He is so mechanically talented. They were
Abe
watching
ke
him,
bhara
respecting
bhi
him in a scrim, and we're just
Kutti
mind blown
batao
how
bata.
just truly gifted he is. I'm excited to see what Bin can do.
So you think about all the hidden bosses out here, you know, that don't get as much love as they need, being able to represent their squad in lands their
अनि
moments
त्यस्तै हुन्छ
to
धेरै फ्या
shine.
पानी
Take a look at some of the other players, also gotta say, love the banter that I usually get to see before we load into that next game. You know, all the players who are having a good time.
Oh,
Just
yes.
happy to make it out to land.
That's right. Moist Esports
Yeah,
picked
they're
up Team
promoted
Burger
Varane,
Squad
Anasi
after a
Vandana,
great
Varane.
run at Champs. Well, they're sitting in the top 5 representing APAC South, a region that has been the quietest, best region in the world. If you look at placements on LAN, that team has performed, and that region has performed the best. Talk about Dark Zero, back-to-back wins. They're, of course, playing North America now. But with that said, here's one thing that's important to understand is based on performance at this tournament, there's a weight that will carry over to Split 2 playoffs and Champs in terms of how many teams are invited per region. Right now, APAC North gets 10 teams. APAC South gets 5.
Okay,
Should that be different? If APAC North does not perform and APAC South does, they'll be awarded more spots and more invites for future tournaments, which is amazing. So keep in mind, you're not only representing your team,
You
you're representing the
cuff.
entire region.
Yes, it's a lot on the line. It's not just
FNC
money that we
UCAF
gotta talk
जस्तो
about here,
लाग्यो
although of course money is really nice and all, but it's about the points to make it into the other lands that are going to be happening, so that way your team has more of an opportunity to not only showcase their own skills, but to also take home some extra money in their pocket. As we get to see the 100 Thieves boys out here, another one of the squads that made it into the top 5 in that final game. I believe they got third with 3KP playing a lot of fast.
That's right. You know, I know 100 Thieves is like basically an apparel company, but you guys switch your jerseys every event. I swear to God, they have new swag, new jerseys every single event. Last year, of course, it was the kit. This year, all reds for 100 Thieves. Big shout out to the squad that just continues to be slept on every single event. Because they don't have that controller player. They're not like a super aggressive, fancy style of play. We don't talk about them a lot. People don't put respect on their name, but you have to remember, they are the champions of the ALGS in North America in year 1. 3rd place in year 2. Let's see what 100 Thieves can do here in year 3.
And put some respect on their name, as they're also one of the teams rocking the logo, Crypto, and Valkyrie. I love the composition diversity that we're seeing.
खै त
Of course, one that with the Seer, Bangalore, and Valkyrie themselves as we get ready for game number 2. I don't want to waste any more time, Paul. Let's dive right into it.
That's right, Vicky. Game number 2 is here. The dropship is flying across Storm Point, baby. Let's get ready to jump right back into the action. Game 1 found Xset dominating with a first place win. TSM farming on edge against Alliance and against Flora from APAC North. We'll see what game 2 has in store.
What's so important to note too is there was so much action happening between there. You heard it in the comms with TSM. They had the mobile respawn beacon that they were able to craft up in the replicator. They took their time. You saw the fight with Burholz with the G7. So with a lot of other teams utilizing the replicator, taking their time, either boosting up their Evo shield and making the rotate. That's definitely something to note because as you can see right here, we got the mobile respawn, the purple knockdown shield, and the purple extended heavy mag, and the 2x scope right now in the replicator before changing.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's why you saw them kind of just chilling in wall. You saw Hal and Burholz.
Sir,
here's the thing. They don't got a replicator this time around. They are going to get a hot zone though, so they'll get some
तर यसरी आएन क्या यो उ भइरहेछ क्या
beacon, they'll get that intel as well.
Look at the patient play though between Sykes and Burholz once again. Going to get that information first, but another similar circle. I can predict a circle going probably way more south than what we saw before, but this is going to be really interesting to see how other teams replicate what they approached when it came to the rotation from the last game.
You know what, Vicky? The competitive integrity gods are certainly blessing us right now because we have some very fair and central circles to kick off. London, another one is going to be here. The last one ended Cascade Falls. That's why you really saw TSM and Xset be able to dominate.
TSM जहिले उसो हुन्छ सर त्यो वालमा हुन्छ.
Rotates, they have good positioning. Obviously they earned it with a lot of fights won and a lot of kills as well. But this time we're going to kick off with Xset here. Longbow in the hands of the controller player in Sykes.
Yeah, Sykes just making his way right back to his squad after scanning that beacon. Xset coming out of a huge game number 1 win. Look at this, already starting off with 28 points. They're feeling themselves, of course, now just trying to force their way into seeing what they want to do next when it comes to those rotations.
Making his way back to his teammates. Sykes going to find himself with an R99. Decently kitted longbow.
गेमको चाहिँ साउन्ड आयो यो इन्डिभिजुअल भ्यू आएन क्या
And if we can showcase the map here in a second as well, that'd be great.
Command center solid
which is going to be fairly south and west of where it pulled last game. As we do see a potential antenna finish. Those finishes are grueling, Vicky, but likely instead going to be right within the bunker by Jurassic Park. Of course, the zone cannot finish in Jurassic Park based on the AI, the prowlers that are there. So it's going to be likely either north or just southeast of that.
You know, if this circle does continuously, though, pull towards the east side, I'm wondering how that's going to fare for the squads that are going to be rotating from high to low ground. There's a little bit of cover in that beacon no-name area that's to the north of launch pad. So with so many squads trying to play for final circle
एनर्जीले दामी कुरा खाइरहेछ फेरि
the Watson playing a lot more passively.
C versus D मा के
We've seen some variations of the Loba. Teams like Pulverex who like to play for final circle positioning are going to be running into teams that already beat them there first. As you can see, Saku already taking some shots by the triple take. Webchat?
Yeah, Pulverex, early rotate team that did not get nearly enough kills in Pro League. They were outside of the top 8 in kills. They qualified from placement. That's their play style. Take a look at the map here. You'll see a lot of teams starting to clump already.
Nice week come out again. Nice week. What the hell?
Valkyl on triple white.
Yeah, triple white.
Look, 15 squads left here. C versus D मा त कति छिटो भने
You know those comms are going crazy. Right? This is definitely a playable spot here.
C versus D हो यो. अघि हाम्रो TSM को त A versus B हो.
Extra cover, but if another squad is going to try to contest you from the left or right and then pinch you in that situation, you basically have nowhere to run other than in the line of sight of Moist. As you can see, they are to their north right now. Moist have no looking at their team comp. This is one of those other final circle positioning, making sure they can bunker down with the Watson fences. They have the crypto drone here. Location alone. But also answer back with an EMP.
We do have quite a few teams playing edge. Look at
LNW को माथि ल्यान्ड गर्यो.
They actually dropped southeast of North Pad and rotate loot late at North Pad, which is a good
Leave no witness भन्ने टिम को माथि.
Maybe teams might try and steal.
पर्यो.
Going on here, TSM likes to be aggressive in this building here. Hal down to 20 HP.
They got the first knock though right now. They have the number advantage in their favor. You see Reps going crazy out here. Already has the purple Evo shield. He wants to try to finish off that knock. Just playing patiently around. Ooh, huge nade over by the top of the stairwell right now too. Reps finishes off that one knock, and as we dive right into this fight, here comes that EMP. Burrow's falling incredibly low, and he's right there in the mouth of the stairwell.
That's right. We're playing against Leave No Witness, South American team. As Verhol's down to 5 HP, going to be scanned as well, so they'll get the intel here. This is their opportunity for Leave No Witness, and the risky thing about this is it's so third-partyable. Expect some teams to come in and try to join the fun.
This would be insane, especially from the squads that are going to rotate outside of Cascade right now. You can hear the Res coming in, playing right outside the doors. Reps doesn't have a shield back. He's only got 5 more shield cells to work with after he pops that one. Hal also having to forcibly play with slow heals. It looks like all of TSM are working off of slow heals.
Yeah, that's a great point. Reason being, well, they didn't have the replicator, so they're not going to be able to craft themselves.
हालले कन्ट्रोलरमा खासै गर्दैन.
They're going to be down to just cells. Looks like Reps is the last one of the bat. Passion is going to get taken out, one of our substitute teams. That's an all-Finnish squad playing with Urban from the UK. They're going to get taken out. So does Crook from Oxygen. So another slow start here for Oxygen.
कस्तो हिटेड परायो यो ठाउँमा.
This roof actually looking at the squads that are in the middle, rotating through the southern side, playing on the outside of that building that we just saw TSM in. There's another team right to their north. Like you mentioned before, Paula, this is a very third-partyable location to be in. But with Exet, they are rocking the Bangalore, so they are going to be able to at least make up some cover with fun actually out here on this year to reveal the other teams that are going to be coming in.
Yeah, I love the fact that Bangalore's stock has
भर्खरको धरेको एउटा रिङ पनि क्लोज भएको छ. राउन्ड 1 क्लोजिङ भइरहेछ हेर्दै.
was trying to tell everybody, look, Bangalore's viable. Little did we know, Bangalore would be one of the most played legends in today's current meta. TSM still just
halal mode versus
it's Leave No Witnesses on high ground. Leave that perfect opportunity to push. Maybe that's it. Hal's gonna break ice, but says I didn't do enough. That got reset. Let me heal up.
It's very interesting. The drone acted like a little shield almost real quick, and the player thinking he has a shot, holding different angles as Reps, but then he gets pinged from the outside of the building.
Yeah, Reps has another battery here, and the reason they want to take this fight, and they want to take it quick, is because they need the loot. They can use these shield baths. They can use this loot. They're gonna get it. Available as well. Leave No Witness from South America eliminated. TSM also able to thwart off any third party. 100 Thieves wanted it.
Now there are no more witnesses out here, minus 100 Thieves. Maybe thinking that they have a shot right now. Scurry is taking one shot with that longbow for backing up.
Okay, low by खेला यार.
That's right. I mean, technically 100 Thieves was witness, so there's one more witness.
Oh, it's got away.
One more witness still out there. It's 100 Thieves.
क्या रे?
Low ultimate come through. You saw. team that really started the low trend in a lot of ways on this map,
Oh,
especially.
not halal
Not running
mode.
Lobo, though. It's Nocturnal on Bangalore instead. But a lot of Loba comps here for late game, which works if there's not a lot of other Loba comps on the map because you don't get your loot stolen.
Reception in another fight between Game Ward. Black Hole getting hit from across, not going to land on anybody. Reception is just playing off the low ground right now on the Seer ult just to make sure they know where the other squad is going to try to approach them from. They're pinging them down. You can see them. Nice little shot with the wingman right now as Taita is just going to be playing off the rooftop.
That's right. Nice defensive Seer ult from the way. The reality is, was a wasted Horizon ult in my eyes. A little preemptive, maybe some of the nerves again. Kind of just yeeted it across the map, didn't really do a whole lot with it. And now they won't have Horizon.
It's kind of like a 1-1 trade-off too, because then you also use the Seer ult too at the moment where the squad wasn't going to push in general, but at least for the use of the Seer ult, it's
सबले मिड लिन
opportunity to push in. And now you see as Northception actually are taking a different off angle. Game Ward says, all right, you know what, we don't like this trade right now, we're just going to drop to the low ground. But is it dropping a little bit too soon with Psychop falling incredibly low?
Game Ward says, yeah, we're good. And I don't know if they know it or not, but nice decision against the Northception team that likes to push such a kill-heavy team. Top 1 or top 2 teams in all of APAC North, a very aggressive region in kills, and that's how they qualified. The vast majority of their points did come from kills. So Game Ward is going to back out and reset here. If you're not familiar with Game Ward, well, the team that dominated the second half of Pro League in India. Started really slow, and again, YOLO were competing for the first time, but Psychop, one of the longest lasting competitors, a veteran in our scene, former Le Cite France champion. He won multiple online tournaments, multiple events with Le Cite France, took a big risk, picked up these 2 rookies, 18 and 19 years old, and it's paid off.
Wow, the young legends out here, so much young talent just being able to showcase their skills right now and land in Game Ward with the rotate, opting to call it early because they wanted to actually wrap around this platform so that way they don't have trouble getting into that next circle. If you can see where that next circle is going to be insane to see the squads exiting out of Cascade Falls. It is in that middle area that we saw Pulverex originally in earlier.
Oh my god!
One was on edge as we got J-Lings Esports. Again, big shout out. J-Lings picking up this squad.
OnlyFans?
So good throughout Pro League, especially in the second half. They were on fire. The big question with this team is, though, Vicky, they're young. A lot of them are playing on land for the first time. You wonder, nerves and other factors that might play into effect here. But again, I've heard that story for the past 15 years. Online Warriors, they're not going to compete on land. And guess what? Every single time I've seen the Online Warriors dominate on land and become the best players in the game.
Live
tells me the future's bright for these 3.
And I know it's stereotypical out here, but VCN is also one of those teams that ramp up with confidence. They get that momentum very quickly, and when they are feeling themselves, you can see it rolling into the next games. It's just GG go next, and they got the RE45 in their hands too, so that basically counts as another player out here. Call them cheating. I mean, RE45 goes absolutely crazy, but J-Lings are just looking at the squads that have already taken control over the buildings right to their south, trying to make sure that you can the rotation to the north.
Control that RE45, I'm a happy person.
Goes Bird.
Yep. And you go Zane, obviously the biggest rookie on this team. VJ and Nag do have a lot of experience. VJ did play with the Sen.
Trina hot pops.
Last Pro League. And of course, Nags as well played at Element 6 for a while and played a few teams before then. So we know this team has some experience, has what it takes. We'll see how they will perform, how they'll translate to land. Meanwhile, TSM with 21 points to their name. They picked up 3 kills already still. Same exact building, same position. Building.
जति प्लेयर होइन खेल्न मिल्नु पर्ने हो सर त्यो जे पाइदे यार सर फुलै गराउनु पर्ने रे एरिनामा 3v3 नै चाहिने अरे अनि ब्याटल रोयलमा 26 जना जति चाहिने पर्ने अरे सेकेन्डर भएर सो एरिनामा नि 2v2
despite the Valkyrie nerf with the missile swarm just in a recent patch, a recent season, guess what? Still gets the knock on YOLO, evening things out at the 2v2. But the damage is going to come through. Hill and enemy as a duo, what can they do?
He tried to play again, expansion with the fence, but it's not going to be enough. There's also another squad trying to creep him with a charge rifle to their south. It's a 1v1 play right now before the other third party comes in to wipe up the Oxygen Esports.
Enemy! He's going to do it! 2 versus 3! But for now, FC Destroy will come through and farm and clean up. A great play from enemy. We've been seeing that all season long in Pro League, but unfortunate for them and unfortunate for fans, FC Destroys nearby.
Yes,
They had no choice. They saw the charge ripple coming in. They knew that they had to fully send it to at least confirm the KP to their name, but they couldn't live long enough. Third party cleaned them up. Another fight now is another squad. Makes a rotation into the TSM estate.
That's right, on order now for Holst. Tagged up, gonna reset. It's J-Lings who wants to fight TSM here in this first and initial. 45. He's gonna get the first knock. 2 players alive here at the 2v2.
2v2.
Oh, TSM la andira GG.
Get wiped out, dropping out in 16th. J-Lings now with a third party moving in the EMP, only leaving Nax. Geek won't be able to get the rest easily.
What did we tell you? J-Lings can fight in a pound-for-pound 3v3. They win over TSM, but 100 Thieves has been watching and waiting, commiserating, wondering, should we push this fight? And guess what? There's the 3P from 100T, and they get themselves all the loot.
They were waiting for a while. They looked over TSM, trying to get into a third party at the very beginning for that first fight, and now
brainless J-Lings when
when they were able to wait by the end of that zipline building that you currently see to the north.
अति brainless हो नि नाहरु त्यो लाइक हुन्छ नि ranked खेले जसरी खेलेका भर्खरै
One worse than new player on this team. Needs to make a play and a half alongside Bin, who is an absolute demon, by the way. And Godfire's going to clean up for now. First elimination on Razy alongside FC Destroy. All 3 members of Godfire alive. Keep in mind, big story of Bin. He was a Dota 2 player. Didn't touch an FPS until Season 6 of Apex Legends. Became an online warrior. They found him online. They said, hey, you ever thought about competing? He's one of the best players in South America now.
That is so crazy to have that backstory, too, to show that you could be good at multiple games out here. You're flexible, literally a professional ditto. As we look at some of the other players now coming in, Moist Esports playing on the high ground. They have not let go of this building as they should. They've been holding it down the entire time because with the crypto drone, they've been able to get the beacons information this entire time.
top 10 मा परे मात्र नि पुग्छ
I believe that space station that's playing right below them. So in this vicinity, you got Pulverex looking at Moist with space station playing right underneath them.
Hoist Esports on high ground. And just one quick note on that Bin play and the J-Lings play. We wrote the script here. We were foreshadowing. We hyped up Bin a while ago. He shows up big time.
Yeah. Team Burger the Moist Esports को भारे चाहिँ
perhaps the opposite of the Caster's Curse. Death to the Capture's Curse here as Horizon gets the final elimination on Satu.
Team Burger थियो नि ना last time.
Another slower start for Apex North.
Rambo यसमै थियो नि त्यसपछि द गार्डमा गएको.
We actually right here over to the south side too, getting involved in a lot of these fights now as Exit are still inside of that building. A lot of action happening as Horizon are looking to clean up the last 2 members of Godfire.
Oh my god, the best placed ultimate for Bangalore. It's gonna be Exit. They want some of the knocks. Can they get it? Here comes the explosion. And it's the last member left, Genji of Horizon. He's the substitute for this team. He's gonna get taken out. Everyone focuses them, and they are eliminated. Exit gets a few. Dreamfire substitute for Dua Esports, also nearby.
Dreamfire splagged that last kill there too. It looked like at the very end that player was one shot. Exit still on the rooftop, still looking at the action happening right to their side. They have to start making moves though to see where they wanted to rotate. They want to rotate long because they got a minute and 20 seconds, some time, but they got to make that decision soon here if other squads are in their way.
That's right. 33 points for Exet. Are you kidding me? What a start for them under the new banner. One team behind them. That's likely 100 Thieves who got the eliminations on them. TSM and rotated back to the same build.
Thieves playing off that little lip of the high ground too, but there's 2 other squads in 100 Thieves way if they want to rotate.
Nocturnal the उसमा थियो हैन टिम लिक्विड मा
next circle. Yeah, they got the black market out, but I believe it's Alliance and NC also to the south of that. It's E36 who have control in the middle of this circle, as you can see right now with the map side by side currently. So many of these other squads are forced on the edge. 100 Thieves looking to fully send it on this squad. You have nowhere to run, little Loba, as she tries to toss out her bracelet. She gets taken out. It's Alliance who are out of this lobby.
Yeah, Alliance eliminated in 10th. Another earlier exit for Alliance than they'd like. 100 Thieves showing up again. Top 9 as it currently stands. 4 kills to their name. Crypto, Loba, and Valkyrie. One of 2 teams, I believe, in 2 cryptos in this lobby so far. Great start for them. They got to now get through NC. If you're wondering who NC is, well, it's NorCal Esports. Picked up the South American team of Frogs, Nasser, and Azazel. Now, 100 Thieves wants this one as well. The Crypto Ultimate is going to come through. Early damage done.
Beautiful actually right there too. Just going to be able to continuously put in some of that extra pressure. NC off to the side of Zell actually in a really nice off angle. That EMP completely negated when Amu really wanted to try to push it.
That's right. Well, looks like NorCal saying, hey, remember that team comp you used to run? We can still do it. Let's go ahead and jump into a listen-in, though, with 100 Thieves, who knows a thing or two about breaking this setup.
Come on. Okay.
my god. No, I'm probably dead.
Oh my god, the cat, we're good. There's trees! There's fucking trees!
Alright, look for maybe here. No. We wanna go here, I think, and then third backwards.
We can land that spot, remember?
Wait, land
right here.
Land here. And shoot behind him.
Okay.
I got a bat right away. That's the bat right on me. We got a third to the right.
Yes. Almost back down. I might go down. I'm good. I just need to get this bat off.
On me.
I need to get this bat off.
They broke EMP.
Sear's dead. Sear died. We're gonna get thrown in the back. We have to wipe this.
On me.
Weak. Get that bag is weak. Dead.
Behind us. Turn.
इक्यो कस्तो हुन्छ है कस्तो इन्टेन्स हुन्छ क्या लाइक हुन्छ नि ओके एक्सेटले त 7 किलो उठाइसक्यो त अहिले पनि.
And 100 Thieves is going to be eliminated to the hands of Xset right there. A good Valkyrie ult, and they of course did everything they could in what was an absolute battle.
That's the scary part too when it comes to some of these Valkyrie ults when you try to get into the fray or you actually get out of a difficult situation when you're playing by the edge. It's E36 that have been holding on to this position though since the very last circle. See the missile swarms coming in from aimbot. He lands on all the 3 players hiding behind that rock.
That's right, enter Force 36. You saw aimbot earlier, you might be getting some deja vu. Well, it's a battle of the aimbots in this lobby. A beautiful sky nade from this one though. Here comes the push as he broke ice, he wants it. His team's going to call him off for a second. They hesitate for a moment. Is that enough time to heal up? No, because the Cyril's going to cancel it. PK shot's going to connect. And just like that, enter Force 36 is going to take out this team behind the rock. It's going to be NorCal Esports.
And they're going to be able to get the res in time too. Nobody in the area to try to third party them. A great fight to take. That's why they hesitated just ever so slightly to just make sure they had the time and space to be able to do this.
Vicky, does Xset go back to back here? Are you kidding me? Top 5 right now.
They're in the best spot.
Full red Evo shield. They got to get through Moist, and they are in a great position. Zone pulling right to them, and they have all the head glitches and cover in the world.
It's actually beautiful, too, because it's not only pulling in their direction. I say best spot because they are not only in the circle, but they know that their backs are cleared. Moist, although they do have the high ground right now, and you can see that their view is getting blocked out by the Bangalore smoke, they have to make the decision. Are they going to try to fully set it to the team fighting to the right?
That's right. It's going to be SSG that decides to push this 3v3. Good shot. The damage is going to be done. 2 members going to be knocked. Zanio on Yundi. And just like that, SSG takes out Enter Force 36.
Space Station being able to take
No drop lane damage that.
E36 have to play this out as a duo. Moist also playing off the south, and Fulbrecht's only having a duo only too. So we got 2 duos in this lobby right now.
Look at Xset farming. Here we go, another opportunity. Here comes the push that's going to be for right behind. It's going to be Fulbrecht.
Oh,
take
fuck.
this fight. Moist nearby as well. Fulbrecht is ratting. Moist is going to go down. 2 members eliminated. 1v1. SSG wins.
Yeah.
Again, but Xset farms. Xset is dominating.
Enter Force
Actually,
36
right,
taking out
guys.
3 squads left, and it's Fulbrecht playing this as a duo. Are you kidding me? Shunmi's like, nobody, nothing to see here. Don't call the exterminator. Fun gets 1 knock onto Space Station currently right now. This is the only other squad that has all 3 men alive.
They're not even fighting. They're just saying, let's just rat as a team of 2, and it's working. Pulverex is pulling a trick out of their own bag from Champs. Rats their way to a top 3, potentially top 2, but Xset is dominating.
Saku says, nothing to see here. Don't look at me. Don't look at me one bit. But
Prowler धेरै दामी छ नि सर.
this direction with the heartbeat sensor, but they got other plans right
एक
now.
चर्रा लाग्यो भने त्यसले 105 आन्सर. हेरौँ त.
Turtle gets 1, and Pulverex gets 2nd. He's trying to not give them the kill point. They'll get it.
Here actually.
Xset goes back to back. Are you kidding me? Fun says, this is too easy. This is too easy.
What did Xset eat this morning? I want some Cheerios, whatever they had with cereal. I want it right now because Xset are on a different level. Their positioning for these final circles are insane.
Guys, I'll be back.
This team is unbelievable. Former Team Liquid roster. You wonder what the heck Team Liquid, how could you let them go? Best team in the world, arguably online. And of course in Pro League, the way they performed, and they are showing it right now, Vicky. They're playing so incredibly well. Targeting center zones, which they love with Cascade Falls. But nonetheless, you gotta give it some first things due. Fun, Nocturnal, Sykes in his first LAN, his debut.
This is actually beautiful too because they also made the decision where they want to rotate out from behind those wall boxes. Look at their faces. They're so happy. I mean,
Auto killer is Otipura, Green Dragon, Photo Mix, in outfield role, 6 rogue.
What?
दुईटा छ मेरो त दुईटाले अर्डर गर्यो 30 मिनेट हाल्ने दुईटा
Sexy roll. Did I hear it wrong or did I tell that right? But it sounds so sus.
कस्तो बजेको त बच्चा
Yo, Dorjo sir.
Takes 2 in a row. I gotta say, I haven't seen Hanzik that happy in a long
Hello,
time.
Dorjo sir.
Basically, has to calm himself back down to go back to
Are
the
we here?
demeanor of Hanzik, which we all appreciate and love. But Tiff, what a
Sadly,
performance.
no.
They're on the board in a big way here to start.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Vicky was like, hey, what do they eat for breakfast? Well, they definitely made me eat my words when I said, can they do it again? So, I love to see that. I love when people prove me wrong. So, can they do it again is the real question.
And it's no fault of you because XZ
Oh,
is
yo,
a
caster ho gaya khatra.
team that has had difficulty in going back to back with
यो
big
सिर
wins.
लो
They're
भयो
consistent, Gino, but this is
Yes,
almost like
Loba
a
han.
reversion. Is this their moment to kind of say, hey, we are here to win this
Oh,
tournament
Loba.
गर्छ न
Oh,
and show the doubters that we are
Loba sir, Loba.
It looked pretty consistent to me. I mean,
Loba
you
ta
know,
na
they
haram
won,
sir.
they got 16 kills, and they won again, and they got the win with 14 kills
Yo,
in that second game.
catalyst
So,
sir.
I mean, the real
I
thing
know advantage
about
hanam sir.
difference
Size
I think
alli
there for
thulo.
me though was, yeah, they are winning these games with a massive swag of kills as well, and that means, you know, it's not like the Moist we're seeing, I guess, where they're getting to those late game circles, with very few kills, playing it really really safe. They're getting there by rolling through other teams and just picking up a swag of points. And when it comes to the end of the tournament, that's going to be important because that's how you get to match point first.
Yeah, that's the one thing that teams typically have a hard time jumping into, getting that win off their back, kind of saying, okay, we can do this and finish strong. That is something XZ does not have to worry about. But other teams who are still trying to get there, a few teams playing zone pretty well. I thought we saw Interforce have a pretty decent game. We saw Pulverex do some good zone play, which they're known for. Some of the stars of championships. And we've seen Moist Esports as well, Tiff, really stay involved. Even if they haven't won, they've been making themselves known.
They definitely have. And as I was walking back to the stage, just listening to the comms and seeing how engaged and locked in they are, that is a joy. That's the best part about being on LAN, is being able to witness this. But we just got to see a clip from Jay Lings where they eliminated TSM and they went in super aggressive. Sure, TSM was a little split there and they saw that as an opportunity. But what came next was really exciting. It was that 100 Thieves move, right? They lurked outside that building TSM was in for a good duration of the time, waiting for the perfect moment.
It did seem like 100 Thieves and TSM mirroring each other a little bit, though, Gino. What was the tale of game two? There was a lot of up kind of points in terms of XZ dominating, taking a lot of the kills. Is it just the zones going well for them, or do other teams need to be a little bit more aggressive?
I mean, there's certainly some aggressive teams in there. We're seeing a lot of them. They're definitely running into each other early on, right? Northeption going out pretty early, as well as a couple of others. I think Leave No Witness come to mind as well. But yeah, those zone teams really are playing it very well. But as you mentioned, we have had two fairly central zones, to start off with. And when you play zone and it comes towards you, like generally that works out pretty well. It's the more
Who is
interesting
the
part
guy
is almost
living?
like, when you get the zone and you're an edge
The one who
team,
does not
it's
understand
about,
Apex
do you
Legends.
sit there or do you actually rotate out and try and start gatekeeping
Very good.
people and playing a little bit differently? Are you
I am being
as a team
toxic.
to be able to do that?
Like I mentioned
Or
here,
he's
in
gonna
terms
grind
of
harder
game two,
from next
XZ
time.
again, top of the board with 26 more points, 14 kills. Pulverex right behind him, 9 points
Ooh.
in terms of placements.
Insane
No
goal.
kills for some of our favorite teams here in Pulverex. Space Station, though, getting 6 kills, 7 placement points. That's a solid performance from them. It's got to give them a little bit of confidence. Talking Frex and Nile a little earlier today, as well as Drop. They're feeling good and ready to go. And Interforce, a team representing APAC North, I think has a chance here to start making some move. 5 kills is promising, but again, Tiff, the story is XZ. We can't not talk about it. 2 back-to-back. Now the question is, can they win 3 in a row and head into essentially almost guaranteeing that they're going to come first place today?
Exactly, and that is a great start, right? You want to get all the points, and too bad this is at Sunday, right?
Yeah.
They'd already be on match point after 2 games, so that's where things are going to get wild. So they just need to carry that in. Now, granted, that lobby is going to be totally different on Sunday, but we want to see a different zone for them to run it back. But they have to be feeling confident when you go into those engagements, because they're not just winning with minimal eliminations, right? They are farming a third of the lobby every single time. So let's shake it up.
This is LAN, though. I mean, it's a different environment. Yes, you do well, and you get the hype of the crowd. But in the same way, if you don't do well, you get the absence of the hype, and you're like, hey, this is the real deal. Let's talk about 11 through 20, Gino. What's standing out for you from these teams right here?
Well, obviously we saw TSM get eliminated early on this time. Sure, they got the one spot back in the meantime, but that's not the best for them looking around, you've got other teams there who, most of them picking up some points actually. This one was a little more spread out than the first one with only a couple of teams down the bottom posting a donut. But yeah, there's a couple of them that have been on the bottom 10 both games in a row now, and they really need to start picking it up.
Well, let's take a look at the series results after 2. XZ. Man, if this was Sunday, as you mentioned, Tip, they would be on match point after 2 games. Looking like pulling an ESA in North America. I'm sure the rest of the world would not be happy about that. Everything else, though, pretty central. Space Station 22, bottom 10, Dreamfire with 8 tips, so anybody's ball game in that second half.
That definitely is. You can start strong, right? Yeah, maybe you get some good wins in the first half, but maybe you're stronger on that fan favorite World's Edge, and you just know it. It's so tried and true. It's been competitive for a very long time, so maybe you'll find some more comfort in that knowing. So the back half of the set might be better for you.
Let's take a look at that final circle one more time. The way XZ managed it, you thought, okay, this looks like an opportunity. Pulverex doing what they like to do, which is kind of hide out and make sure they play smart. But Gino, walk us through this last moment. I mean, Sykes, he's been playing phenomenally. Such a great addition to XZ. After losing Gilderson's earlier on in the split, and almost seeming like it spelled trouble for them, they've adapted so well with Sykes.
Yeah, interesting. Gilderson's was such a strong player, but to come out ahead of that roster change and still be doing this well is honestly pretty amazing. But yeah, this was honestly one of the easier final circles you'll see to play. The other 2 teams didn't really seem to have a beat on them at all. You can see here they've got high ground. Once Space Station goes down, we've got Pulverex just wall jumping around. APAC normally known for their amazing movement. Those guys.
That is true.
On the M&K,
oh
yeah.
God,
but like honestly, as a region, just like next level with that kind of stuff. And they didn't get any kills, right? I don't know. Maybe they just like. Had their weapons stowed away and they were just like wall bouncing around. Just that's how they made it into second place. Who knows?
But I like a plan. I like a plan. Even though they didn't get kills, they wanted that placement points. They got 9 placement points. That's better than a lot of other teams have to do it. Game 2 has just finished. We've got one more game coming up on World's Edge, and it is a doozy. Can XZ go back to back to back? We'll find out in just a minute.
Paula, Vicky, what do you think? I think yes, personally. They have what it takes. Listen, Rain Day, they've been playing out of their minds, man. It's been fun to watch. Vicky's losing her mind. I'm losing my mind. Vicky, it's day 1. We got to control our voices.
Who's tapping on that mic? Come on. Undress yourself.
Just out here winning not only back to back, but with double-digit KP. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, it's actually insane to see how successful they've not only been on the rotations, but it's kind of what you mentioned too.
दुईजना सँगै छ नि सर ओ बिकिटी बिकिटी following her right now.
But it ended up still pulling more to the west in that formation where if you're forced to transcend through that river,
कति मत छ है सर यिनीहरुलाई ओ जलहर
we had 2 duos also playing at the very end minus Space Station Gaming.
कोइन छैन क्या बिचमा
They had a nice clear path before cleaning up the remaining duos that was left.
Can we take a moment to talk about the Chicago Bulls jersey, though?
Right?
Chicago Bulls, Chicago represented, even though this guy probably never been to Chicago. I still love to see it, but no, yeah, you're spot on. Here's one thing that's interesting. Despite all the meta changes, despite all of the years that have passed, the new characters added, the one thing that's been a staple in the Apex meta, well, it's center map drop spots. Tend to do well. I mean, you look at TSM early on and Kings Canyon, they dropped Cage, they dominated. They won the first 3 land tournaments. You look at them dropping Fragment East originally, they dominated. The reality is, XZ's doing the same thing, dropping Cascade Falls and finding success. But guess what? It's one more game here on Storm Point. The drop ship is flying. We're loading in. One more game on Storm Point. Can XZ go back to back to back? Or will we see the likes of TSM? Maybe even Alliance. They need a big game here. Will they show up? Will they perform? So
we got to see that consistency, follow. We got to see it happen. And this is the final game on Storm Point before we make the transition into World's Edge right now. You want to be able to start off strong, and that's exactly what XZ has done. Like we talked about before, they land in Cascade Falls, and what do you know? There's a beacon right to their north. So they're going to have that information immediately, too.
Okay, where's the beacon? I don't see a beacon.
All the way to the side of the Cascade Falls. Yeah. Yeah, you see that?
Northeast. All right. Because guess what? The wall beacon that they've been scanning is not going to be there. I see it. There it is. It's hiding. The wall beacon that they've been scanning is not going to be there. So here we go. Drop zone, or sorry, hot zone again. Going to be in wall and a crafter this time, but no beacon for TSM early. Meanwhile, we're looking at teams that are at the bottom of the leaderboards that need a really, really big performance. You're looking at teams like FC Destroy. Oxygen has had a slow start. Flora in North America, APAC North, I mean, Alliance with a very, very slow start. And of course, all the way in dead last is going to be Passion, the Finnish squad. They need a huge game here. This is kind of the middle point where you either stay with the top or fall way behind.
And it also puts things into perspective on the squads that just do better on World's Edge too. Maybe they had a slow start here on Storm Point, but can that transition to World's Edge benefit those squads that are on the end half of the overall leaderboards? As we tune into Moist Esports, they're going to be able to loot up here. Another one of the consistent squads. I mean, we got to talk about it too. Moist has been in the top 5 for both Game 1 and Game 2. Yeah, they've been able to get some KP, and it hasn't been as loud as we've been able to see from Exit out here, but this is another team that has been pretty quick on their rotation. They have the crypto, they can get those beacon scans without having to overextend themselves.
Yeah, Moist, another team that does well through early rotates. Like the guard of APAC South, if you will. You know, obviously you have IBG, Ironblood Gaming, former Chicken Sandwich. Obviously they fly everything they see, play ultra aggressive in that region. Well, Moist does it good old-fashioned way. Rotate early, and look how fast they just rotate those 3 buildings. Obviously it's not named POI. There's not a whole lot to loot, but they're still going to walk out with purple shields in a pretty good position here.
Yeah, you know, you guys saw it at the very beginning, seeing where the circle was going to be pulling all the way towards the west side this time. So I'm expecting a lot of rotation coming out of Checkpoint, leaving through Cascade Falls like we see from Exit. They actually may run into Moist here. You can see Moist actually look in that direction, depending on how quick Exit is with that rotation, but they'll probably also opt to stick on the higher ground with the rotation away from Cascade to overlook the action of those 2 buildings that usually gets hot real quick.
Yeah, that's right. On the flip side, expect the teams that are far from center zone here, just take their time. And that's you like seeing teams that can play both and kind of change their play style based on what's in front of them. Godfire dropping fish farms. They have a replicator and a beacon. They're going to, of course, craft up, take their time looting all the southeast. I think they get Gale Station as well. TSM up in Wall will do the same thing. Alliance up in Lightning Rod are going to take their time. So you're going to have those 3 teams play a hard edge here. Same thing with SSG, who unfortunately won't get themselves a replicator, but will continue to take their time on rotate.
What's really interesting about this rotation too, seeing that the circle is going to be pulling all the way towards the west side, is going to be the squads that are going to be able to find their comfort in the edge of the circle uncontested. Looking at Sinnoh Caves, we have Barometer, already a fight happening though towards the southern side of the mill right now too. So a lot of action is going to be happening with the teams leading out of Down Beast as well as these buildings over here, because sometimes there is a beacon in these buildings, but there actually doesn't look like there is one right now.
That's right. We got a couple teams nearby. We got Leave No Witnesses, Jailings, and Moist on the rotate. With a potential 3-way affair, 3-way fight. Zero squad nearby. Just respect the positioning. Good information to be gathered here while he can from Leave No Witnesses. Meanwhile, Moist right below them.
And they thought this would be, because they were ready off the rip, because they were so quick on the rotate, like you mentioned earlier before, but Leave No Witness right now have been inside of this building. The EMP has been unleashed, so they want to take advantage right now, getting the crack already off of one of the Moist boys.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Moist got away with murder right there. I'm surprised they're able to escape and survive, despite every team being able to focus them. They get away with no knocks and no downs, just a broken shield for Valkyrie. And it looks like Moist is going to have to take their slightly north rotation. We'll have to be careful though, because they're playing in pretty unfavorable choke with teams that could come all the way from Checkpoint on the late rotate. Obviously teams like Perfection, TSM might be coming through.
What's also really nice to know is with the squads that are inside these buildings to the side of Mill, those squads are not going to be moving anywhere anytime soon. Also wondering the squads that want to take control over Pride Rock, that's to the north side of the Mill here, looking at Oxygen, Pulverex. Now, as you can see, FC Destroy now in the middle of that fight. They already got a knock, so they have the advantage to clean up Passion just as quick, and it's not the results that you wanted to see fall out.
That's right, Passion with 0 points right now. Guess what? They're going to keep on enjoying them donuts. Going to get eliminated early. Fortunate start for them. We'll see if they can bounce back on World's Edge. Meanwhile, Hammer Drill. Going to be Hammer Drilled down to 5 HP. Talk about a gamer tag, man. Let me just take a look at tools and home repair and then get some inspiration from that and come up with Hammer Drill. I love it.
Sometimes you just got to make sure to hammer in the point sometimes when it comes to making sure that you leave a statement out here.
Drill in the placement.
Come on, you got to. Especially playing off the southern side on the outskirts of Mill. FC is going to be able to look at the other squads that want to rotate away from Sinnoh Caves. Moist just landed on the southern side away from Mill, which is why we saw them with a quick rotate when they landed on top of those buildings. But now they're kind of forced out of that vicinity as the farming has continued with these charge rifles.
That's right. He'll keep leveling up that Evo shield. Meanwhile, I'll keep contemplating changing my gamer tag to Wrench Nail to maybe start a clan with my boy Hammer Drill on board with Yuka and the rest of FC Color destroy. Meanwhile, Moist finds himself in good position. They go from being in a really rough spot at that unfavorable choke where exactly where TSM came. So that's what we mentioned. TSM Northampton might come through. TSM is now there. Moist, though, was able to make it under bridge. And as weird of a position as this is, we've probably all been there and ranked, and you're like, this is awkward. It's actually a favorable spot. You have a lot of cover, a really beautifully designed bridge. I will say it's some good civil engineering from the Apex Legends level design team, because those ramps that lead underground give you a lot of cover, a lot of ability to head glitch. By the way, for those of you the Apex head glitch, it's not a glitch, it's not a bug in the game. It basically refers to using cover for line of sight where only your head is showing, and you can see basically their entire body. They can only see your head, which makes it very hard to hit you. So
yeah, hiding your hurt box, it's absolutely huge out here. We saw it actually a little bit during that first game we were talking about in that final fight. TSM with a quick rotate away from that choke point is a smart decision, as you can see the gold knockdown in the hands of Reps right now, just making the swap with the gold helmet to give that quick lead of Verhols, maybe wanting to get the skyward dive just in case out here. But playing off this choke point, they made the rotation quickly because there is a beacon in checkpoint, so you can expect other teams to maybe try to get that information if they fail to get it on the way there.
Interesting rotate from TSM, though. I mean, it's the right decision, but now they're going to have to face a couple teams. Game Ward right in front of them, and the long-range poke from Northampton is going to give them the intel. I don't know if they know that Game Ward is there, and it looks like they will find out. I think they did get the Seer scan, Seer ping. That's the benefit of Seer right now. And out TSM going to take some good positioning, but need to be cautious because the third party will come. This is like the Pro League match where we saw Designful and G2 ape them, and then they ended up all getting third party to get taken out. You don't want to get in a fight right now because the third party will certainly come from Northampton.
Saw how quick Aimbot was running real quick to the rest of his squad. They saw that there was another team taking shots at TSM with the 30-30, but now they have the high ground, they have the positional advantage, and it's difficult to be in this position if you're TSM because you're playing up the low ground with Game Ward right on top of you. They also have to get moving soon, but this is going to be a lot of noise to let the other teams that already made their way towards Mill, that are already inside those buildings on the outside of Mill, that you can see Psychop actually ping, kind of getting a whiff of that fight, maybe trying to circle keep them too.
Yeah, right now it's Note Cave. We got Dreamfire and Enterforce 36 nearby. So a lot of APAC action. APAC North versus APAC South. Dreamfire, of course, the substitute squad. Again, Dua United Esports not able to make the competition, unfortunately. So Dreamfire takes their spot.
Hello.
Talented team, though. We've seen what Roy
Where are you?
Those underrated players in the APAC South region.
We'll
see how they will fare right now with E36. Our only Korean spot in the lobby, aiming down sights.
Missile Swarm, maybe trying to find a hit on the Seer ult tier 2. They get the hit on some blue Evos, so that's some nice information. Nice Arc Star toss there too. Getting another hit. They have no idea as I'm playing outside the circle.
These nades from Eva have an point, and here comes the push and the damage. This is going to be Enterforce 36 playing this fight so incredibly well. Not getting a knock though, but they're going to get a break. Oh my god, the AV 8's going to go brap brap, take out Roe real quickly. Inspired me, by the way, with the gun noises.
I got it. It's like speaking a different language out here, and when you got the purple shotgun bolt too, you know that EVA is going to go crazy getting those two knocks. Dreamfire getting taken out.
How does the EVA go though?
Gotta get the shotgun shots going, and it has to feel powerful. You gotta feel the bass.
The bop is the bass.
Exactly.
TSM ठाउँमा एक्सेट छ क्या फेरि
forced to actually just go around playing on the outside of the circle.
Why are you gay?
Now, it looks like Xset's going to
Because
potentially
you
do
are
the same
gay.
thing to E36 that they just did
no
to be
reason
forced
for
to
you
Dreamfire
to
squad. I mean,
gay.
they're going to be gate capped in zone
Yeah,
right
thank you
now.
for the like.
Xset is right outside watching, keeping a close eye on them and not letting them re-enter. So they'll have to do two decisions. They either fight Xset
Yo,
or they
chill.
will try and rotate far west. It looks like they'll take option number 2. Rotates can be called. We'll take a look at the map here and show you guys exactly how the action's going down. And guess what? TSM with the fight against Flora.
I also like this rotation too from E36 just because they opted to take the KP that they already got and wanted to go for the safe rotate instead of putting themselves at risk of getting third party.
15,
Fire did hear the fight
17.
going down, but they didn't want to overextend just yet. Looks like they actually make
TSM
station right now off to the right side. We're going to see how that's going to go down as TSM are also looking to rotate away from the squads that were shooting at them.
TSM's going to back out.
रिङ बाहिर छ नर्थ प्याड छेउमा
Japanese squad featuring Pinnator. Big story going into champs, but unfortunately wasn't able to compete due to testing positive for COVID.
यो ट्विचमा प्ले एपेक्समा कमान्ड सेन्टर छ सर
Literally told me, I sent a survey out to all the players to get some information about them. He told me he's a Martian from another universe.
यस्तो हुन्छ सर एकछिनमा यो म्याच
There will be things here, and okay, I thought he went down right there, but it wasn't him. Someone else went down, and now TSM is going to farm that first kill, take this 3v2. Well played from TSM.
Flora also constantly running into TSM in these rotations. I mean, coming out of the north side, that's going to happen here. Now you're going to see Flora just trying to take some shots with the charge rifle, only landing a 3, brushing against this leg as he's going to be able to rotate off to the side.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation now for
This is tournament, Dumbo.
Might take an opportunity to third party this.
बाँच्नु छ क्या रिङ भित्र छिर्नु छ नि यिनीहरूलाई
Favorable push right now. Taking 3v2. And Game Ward is creeping up on them. Right behind them is Game Ward right now. So you got to be cautious right now if you're TSM. You might think you have a 3v2, you might think it's clean on edge, but you know there's teams nearby. And there's the Game Ward beam, the 3-2-1 comes through. And aimbot uses that potential aimbot for success. Gets first to limb on Furholes.
Also, Furholes of all players here too. They're pinched. This is a terrible situation for TSM. They get cleaned up in this lobby going down in 7.
स्क्वाडले पछाडिबाट च्याप दिने
And squads out here. 100 Thieves also went down earlier right now too in this game. So it's nice to know with Game Ward now making their move, they can try to clean the floor if they have that opportunity, or is another third party going to come in?
That's right, and that's exactly what I kind of mentioned. TSM got 2 tunnel vision on those final 2. They knew they had numbers. They felt confident about the edge fight, and didn't know that Game Ward was just creeping up on them. Maybe no head in a swivel there. Not sure exactly what happened, but I think it was a surprise attack here. A 3-2-1 from aimbot. TSM is out in 17th. No placement points for them. Only 1 kill point. Gonna turn out. Long range damage. Eating sub-zone here, and needs this knock and needs it bad. Missed a couple shots though.
Alright, but the Bangalore smoke gives them the insurance that they need to try to get away in time. Flora is unable to get the banner for their fallen teammate, so they're just going to call it quits, going to start rotating around because they know that with so much noise that they made, not only is that team already out-rotating them, but there could be another squad waiting for them as Alliance also Hockey's falling low.
That's right, it's going to be a lot of damage done off the rip here. NorCal Esports going to get knocked by Pulverex, Shun Me as well, the new member of this team. Hockey's going to push up. Great angle, great flank from Hockey. He's beaming with the flatline, does the initial damage. Can he get the knock though is the question. Just trying to burst right through this Newcastle wall.
Oh, so one literally right now. Alliance knows they have the advantage. NorCal get taken out, and currently 15 squads left in this lobby.
And this is where Alliance shines. They love these fights where they can take up a lot of space. They're the best team in the game at doing exactly that. Playing big, playing wide, taking angles. When they're given the opportunity to do that and kind of farm around the lobby freely, they dominate the game.
He's also cleaning up another team out here, actually taking care of one of the members of Exit Funk going down out here.
That's right.
That only leaves Nocturnal, I believe. I did see another member of Exit go down. I believe that was Syke, so Nock being the only one alive.
Nock currently alone in a building, alone from his team. See what he can do right now, as he's going to be ratting his way to a top finish if he possibly can. Here he is. Lobby. Good for Nocturnal. Does have some Bangalore smokes to try and keep him alive. Nice job right there for Jailings to take that fight, get some knocks. No pun intended, as they have Pulverex and Horizon right in front of them. And Nock will just continue to rat his way to a top finish.
3 times not the charm, it looks like, out here for Exit, though, just leaving Nocturnal up and alive. And little to no coverage is playing on the other side of the rock. A lot of other teams still coming in from the north could see him in their line of sight after the Bangalore smoke runs out. I was wondering, where do they want to rotate here too? Because Alliance have control over this high ground right here by the hill, and the circle is going to be closing into their back in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, this is a really important game for Alliance. I actually would go far enough to say a must-perform game. 4 points to their name total, in a favorable position right now. But they're going to actually, I thought they just walked this in and kind of play their space. Instead, they're going to Valkyrie. So an interesting decision here. Instead, they decided to roll the dice a little bit, and they just go to the other side of the rock.
Okay, well, they are not making their way downtown, all right? Not this time around. Playing on the other side, though, is going to be that squad that was inside that building from the very beginning, I believe. It was the crypto squad that we saw that tried to get landed on its Northception now, making their way to try to take this fight.
It's like flying from London to Glasgow. You know, you could have easily just drive there, but instead you're going to fly. Why'd you do it? You could have saved money on the airline tickets. Instead, simple little rotation there from Alliance, switching over to Northception. 10 points to their name, 11th place overall. They've been able to pick up some kill points throughout the first 2 games. And right now, find themselves with an opportunity to make it in the top 10 if they possibly can. Let's take a look at the map, though, and see exactly how things are shaking out.
Ooh, this is very interesting, because you got to think about the rock and then the mill, obviously being in the middle of that circle and where it's going to be pulling. Now you got 3 squads. It looks like actually 4 squads with Pulverex making their way inside the mill, trying to share that same building. Oxygen, Alliance, FC over on the other side, looking to now get involved in a potential fight that's going to allow Space Station to actually poke at them from the inside of the building.
होइन एउटा लोभा अल्टो सर
Clumped up right by Pulverex, Space Station. So many teams you can't even see. Godfire and then one other. So many teams you can't even read the names on screen right now. That will be an interesting fight.
उतै ढुङ्गामा अर्को एउटा त्यो एक्सेटको प्लेयर छ क्या फेरि भर्खर त्यो एनडिएसले हारेको
They're currently the only one sitting on the west. And the zone's going towards them. J-Link is in a very good spot.
Let's talk about the edge of the building that Moist is also holding. It's an amazing spot that Moist is going to be able to hold on to. Especially since I believe they are running that crypto squad here too as Alliance still on the high ground. Oxygen get taken out thanks to a nice little shot out here from Yuki.
Right, and this is exactly what I mentioned. This is a favorable game for Alliance. We're able to play big. We're able to occupy the entire south side of this ring. Very, very well so far. Sentinel in the hands of Yuki. A lot of players have been opting for the Sentinel over the charge rifle since the cell required. Which means, well, you can easily just stack cells and have a charged up charge rifle quickly. Yuki's one player in particular that has opted for the
Love the way that the Sentinel sounds too once you let it rip out there with the charge shot.
And Solid the Iron Side man.
Less than 30 seconds on the clock. They have some that next circle, but they know that there is another squad in their way in the direction of the rotation that they want to go in.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the kill feed, Godfire decides to pick a fight with J-Lings, who I mentioned was bullying and maintaining the west side of the mill. Well, guess what? They're going to be the big boys, as they're going to be able to get that first kill. J-Lings, a dominant all-controller team from EU, VJ, representing the Middle East. The only player, I believe, from the Middle East in this competition from Iraq. Holding it down right now. Pulverex takes high ground right above them.
And remember, Pulverex was on the other side of the building that's not inside this next circle of milk here too. So them taking control of the rooftop is going to allow them to see where the other teams are when they're forced to make the rotation outside of the circle. J-Lings in the safety of this house, though, they got the RE45 in the hands of Sane, and we know how crazy the RE45 goes here for the former squad, BZ and J-Lings out here.
Yeah, they're going to swap. Helmets right there to help with abilities put instead in their teammates' hands. And you're right, RE45 is exactly what we saw in their hands last game. They're prioritizing supply bins and using them to their advantage. Meanwhile, Alliance rotates here, decides to fight against E36. One of them goes down already. Fight for Alliance.
With Yuki down though, they're going to play off of the side of the knockdown, see if they can get the res. You see,
त्यसैले आजकल म ओभर अक्टेन खेल्न थालेको कम से कम हैन केटाहरुलाई त के दिनु मिल्छ के दिनु पर्छ के दिनु हुन्न भन्ने कुरा थाहा हुँदैन हामीलाई.
Yeah, they have a minute and 18 seconds though. Crypto drone's going to fly through and try and continue to damage them. From Moist.
Red Comelec.
I like that this go down. They called in the mobile respawn to make up some extra makeshift cover right here, playing on the edge of this building to at least, if they can, play behind it if another grenade gets tossed in their direction.
That's right. Good decision here. Will allow them to use some additional cover, maybe a little HUD glitch. You see a lot of teams obviously do that with the Moby. Wise decision from Alliance.
पाउँछन् सर यिनीहरूले त किन्छन् सर यिनीहरू.
Good job staying calm on the pressure there. Moist is not going to push that because if they do, E36 beats them. So E36 is
Playing this as a duo and playing on
the एक्सेट पनि सकेछ त.
They again know that there's already a team that's right above them, but it's about where they want to go to next. Especially since it looks like their exit routes cut off right behind them here too.
TSM मगिसक्यो.
That's right. Waltzy, MT, Pricey. Waltzy, one of the few controller players in Apex now for whatever reason. A significant amount of mouse and keyboard players.
कुन चाहिँ लोड हो?
It's a rare breed. In that vicinity.
ए दारुड हो. साला कस्तो कुन चाहिँ मामाको तोर्बी बोलाएछ सुन्ने.
Also second most mouse and keyboard heavy region. Okay, now. Y'all loved him at champs. Let's go ahead.
Whoa!
Waltzy, speaking of the low control players, going to beam, but let's jump into a listen in with Moist Esports.
Maybe
फेवरेट मान्छे नो छोडेगा यार यसको त आम्मा.
Just swap with me, Waltzy. Just swap with me. Just swap with them. I'm gonna climb roof, maybe. They're underneath us. Be careful, somebody landing us. Be careful, somebody landing on roof. Right now. They're landing on me.
One man in roof.
72 on B.
Yeah, on roof. Two teams. One died. Nice. They're dropping.
I need a heal. I got the kills. Lost bottom.
यो हुन्छ यार इन्टेन्स होला.
Look here. They're on the drop.
I'm healing.
I'm chilling. There's a team on the backside. The team on the backside of their building.
Get a fence bottom door, Pricey.
Yes,
get a fence bottom. Get a fence on bottom door, Pricey. Pricey, can you hear me? Yeah, done.
Watson खेल्नै पर्ने रहेछ यार, जसले नि खेल्छ यार.
Wait, they shoot to our roof.
Watson OP हो सर, OP.
Careful. One team dead.
We're still top 5. Got knocked, didn't they?
I think so. My drone's broken at the moment. There's a team on the roof. I don't know how many. There's a big team. Full team bottom.
हेरौँ त सर एउटा इन्टेल लिन एउटा
That was the
डिफेन्स
best
एउटा
rotation
रोटेसन
that Moist could have asked for. Pulverex drops on top of him, gets beamed by the lobby, and Moist is able to get all the loot in the world. A poor rotation right there for Pulverex, but they really had no other choice likely. Nice job for Moist to capitalize.
It's the risk that it comes in with the Skyward Dive, but served on the silver platter for Moist Esports to capitalize from. Again, I talked about it earlier, but they were in the best spot. Look at this little cheeky angle. If the window doesn't work, then you take the gravity lift, the alley-oop to try to get on top of them.
That's right. And actually, I think it might have been FC Destroy and not Pulverex. But nonetheless, nice job from Moist. Alliance still alive. We talked about how great their rotation was. The opposite of the FC Destroy. Valk rotate there.
Voice गर्न
Success. 5 teams make it 4 teams.
8 9 स्कोर हुँदा मजा आउँछ के यस्तोमा त
The others are, I believe it's North Epson and I think E36 from Team of 2.
Yes, Enter Force 36 out here too as a team of 2 playing on the edge of that circle. Moist Esports now trying to catch up
begin
the high ground right now. It's Reception that's actually trying to contest for this building.
Yeah.
Absolutely fry everybody else in the lobby until then. E36 out. Alliance only have this fence to work with, and they're going to get beamed. The missile swarm.
Did.
Damage. Ticks and talks.
Oh, welcome to the whole circus. Juggling these arcs, they're taking care of what was left of Alliance. It's actually Mandy is still alive.
Mandy mother bhai girega.
The Reception can actually help them out if he can manage to pull this res.
He's going to get the res off. I don't think he has a gold knockdown. So he just pushed early enough to eat the grenades and get heals, but Moist is going to fry them, Biggie. They're done for.
Dead.
Okay, they still got the take. I would say the Gen could have beaten up those missile swarm right now. Still playing off the edge of the fence line, but they're going to be forced to drop down before they can recuperate. Alliance in trouble. Moist now looking to clean up the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, Alliances are going to use that lift from Horizon. Norception going to get some damage on MT. It's a 2v2 for the bread. Moist drops. Waltzy's alive. Brian go around the wide left is all up to Waltzy and a 1v1.
Oh, NTS le jite. Whoa.
Japan on top in game number 3.
It was Moist that had their sights on Alliance.
TSM ले 4 मैच लगातार कुटे गए यिनीहरुलाई.
Please drop on us. Don't look at us. We're going to clean up the rest of this game.
What a finish for APAC North. You didn't see a single North American team in the top 4. It was APAC South, APAC North, and a lone member of EU. Alliance did everything they possibly could, but in the end, Northeption plays low ground so well. Moist takes second with quite a bit of KP as well.
And Moist still continuously staying consistent the last 3 games. They've been top 5. Game 3, I mean, you gotta see, you gotta give up the hype out here. You like the energy?
The double thumbs up move.
Yeah.
I like the double thumbs up move. I'm a big fan of that. I want to see some more flexing, from Pulverex.
Okay.
Gotta give it to the
but until then,
pop-ups.
double thumbs up will be okay. Nice job, as you see. Japan, such a controller-dominant region. Yeah, nice little skin there.
I like that controller.
Me too. I'm a fan. Well done, well played from Northeption. Again, they were in 10th, 11th place, maybe 12th place. They needed a performance. Talk about showing up in game number 3. That'll help them significantly. But look, that's going to be it for Vicky and I. Of course, Onset and Gas will be taking over in game number 4. But before then, let's go ahead and throw it over to Raven.
Be right back with I followed the caster and now I fought.
London Copper Box Arena. Make some noise for Fallout and Vicky Kitty. Great cast, great set. We'll see you a little bit later. Always got to show some love to the friends and the co-workers. Not too hard of work. I mean, it's hard, but we love being here. Northeption very, very happy as well. 2 thumbs up. Japan making some noise, representing in the house. You love to see it. Northeption, a team that in APAC North actually took 2nd place overall before they came here in terms of points. And it was a great performance from them. It was one that was 14 games long.
यिनीहरु बोलुन्जेल चाहिँ
हैन यिनीहरु बोल्न सकेछ के यहाँ
टिम उ भइरा हुन्छ के
यिनीहरु चाहिँ के गर्छन् भनेको के हो यो चाहिँ
I don't know, you tell me.
यिनीहरुको आवाज चाहिँ अन्य गेममा किन थाहा सर
अर्कै आवाज आउँछ होला सर
यिनीहरु प्लगड इन हुन्छ के सर
Oh my god.
Look, I believe in Northeption as well, right? If they're taking it, I think this is going to be one of the times, one of the rarer times. Yeah, I swear to God, this team is allergic to the zone, right? They run in the opposite direction to it as often as they can, because they always want to be fighting someone. They prefer to be in a nice isolated spot at the edge of the zone, and as a result, they just seem to take fight after fight, and it's rare that you'll see them, you know, in the end game like that. But you know,
Good
you can
light,
see
sir.
that if they do get there, they can play it smart.
Good light.
Underneath Moist there, and you saw Moist would just
Good
waiting,
night.
hoping that those
Yeah.
grenades would finally finish off Alliance, so
Good
they
night,
wouldn't
sir.
worry
Good
about the team underneath them. But unfortunately, they just managed to hold on just long
ओए
enough.
तेरे त्यो कपाल त्यसरी आँखा राखेर काट देख्छ होला है
Waltzy so
चाक
close
बढाइदियो
to
क्या
finishing that off. It was Northampton with a win in game 3. But overall, we thought it might be XSET going back to back to back. Not this time around. No TSM either. Alliance, though, woke up. And again, I kind of want to go back to you, Gino. I've been talking about Moist Esports. They didn't win there. But this is a team now, I think they've almost put themselves in a position to be 4th, 3rd place heading into the final 3 games. That is a strong performance from a team that had a lot of fan favorites back in Championship. Formerly Team Burger, now representing Moist Esports very well.
If I'm not wrong, I think they got top 5 in every single game so far, and that just shows how good a zone team they are, right? Their comp is tailored from that. They switched over to the crypto partway through split 1 just to really solidify that play style that they have, which is really that hard.
यस्तो हुन्छ है बिहान सर हेलो
Right from you know, the most hardcore edge teams to the most safe zone teams.
ओ बिग्ने हा
Moist would probably be in, I'd say, the top 5
Okay.
teams who really
Yes, I go to P.
यस्तो हुन्छ है सर हेरौँ त
भनौँ सर
अब यहाँ हामी यसो ट्विचमा गयो होइन हेरिरहेछ है यहाँ यी वाच इन कमान्ड सेन्टर देखेँ सर मेरो माउस कहाँ हपर भइरहेछ हेरौँ न हो त्यो माथि चाहिँ अनि यस्तो आउँछ कि अनि त्यसपछि अब 4वटा टोटल चुज गर्नु मिल्छ होइन मैले अहिले म्याप मैले म्याप अनि सरले केमा हेरेर पिसीमा कि पिसीमा हेरेर हो कि फोनमा ए हुनुपर्ने
They won the second preseason quals, go into Pro League Split 1. And I mean, just look at that. Look what happens when they start heating up. 23 points there. And that's exactly what you need to do. And you talked about Moist Esports making it the longevity, right, Genome? But not getting the eliminations. They actually picked up quite a bit because they were able to hold that high ground.
Yeah, I'd say 6 for a second place team is like, it's okay, right? But you don't often see them pick up those big bags of kills. I mean, you know, seeing an XSET come out on top and getting a 14 kill or a 16 kill, that is a lot rarer for a Moist Esports.
And that's the issue, too, I think you're bringing up as we head into some of the teams on the back half of this board, 11 to 20. Some of the problems are if you do play so zone-heavy, Genome, and when you win, you only win with 16 points instead of the 28, instead of the 32, match point, it's still going to be difficult for you to break into that threshold.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a group stage you're talking about, you know, winning is probably enough to get you through
के थियो सर
if you're looking at that on average, right? But yeah, as you say, when it comes to
होइन
match point,
प्रिभ्यू अहिले आउँदैन गेम छिरेपछि मात्र आउँछ
skills become a lot more important when you're
अहिले गेम छिरेकै छैन नि
and
त
just trying to bank those 50 before you go for gold. So, yeah, the teams in the bottom 10 here, obviously, you know,
ए होइन यो
on that pace right now.
You know, a little bit about TSM. They started off really strong.
अघिको ब्याच भयो
They were almost ramping up. XSET then took over the Thunder. And it feels like since then, TSM have had a couple of difficult fights. 1 point there leading out in game 3. World's Edge, will they be able to pick it up? I know a lot of people talk about them being #1 in the world, but now they've got to prove it here in these last 3 games.
Well, let's just talk about Lava Siphon. That's their drop spot on World's Edge. They feel incredibly confident there. They've been chowed all throughout scrims, and they have defended Lava Siphon. And teams like IG, which are, you'll see them competing against them later, tried to split Lava Siphon with them, and they eventually just kind of held strong. That is their POI. But you're right. They were in the bottom half of match number 3, and I feel as if they make kind of some small mistakes, or they go the distance and pick up everything. It's like something simple that they're like, oh, that was a misstep, and then they go out on their first fight.
And I honestly think that Lava Siphon is the most overpowered POI, single POI on either of the competitive maps that we have here in competitive play. So yeah, I think the change from going, you know, from Storm Point over to World's Edge is going to be a massive boon for TSM, because you know, you walk out of there with like 3 purples, like gold attachments. You've got you get the hot zone half the time. This place is just insane.
You walk out there just looted, ready to go. Let's take a look, though, at the final circle after the loot was done, and it was just about hitting your shots, which, as we do have to remind you, sometimes is just deciding who wins the game. It's not always all the tactics and all the great play and where you land. somebody who just hits those Prowler shots might end up winning. It was a little bit more complicated here because Alliance was threatening the other side of the circle, but they were also low. And it forced Moist Esports to actually pay a lot of attention to Alliance when Northeption ended up being the big threat.
Yeah, so Moist were playing on the second floor. They did well because there were a lot of teams in this building to actually get that high ground towards the end of this game.
बखेर थ्रो हानेर सर्यो म्याच उतापट्टि त्यसलाई उतापट्टि त्यो एलायन्सलाई ध्यान दिँदा दिँदै यतापट्टि फाइट खेल्न नसक्यो क्या तिनीहरू छुट्यो नि त सबजना
A little bit too much attention to that and just left it completely free for Northeption on the bottom floor.
I think Alliance, though, actually Moist end up taking a better trade there because they get the 2 kills of the knocks that they had for Alliance, and they get the extra 2 points from going from 7 points you would have gotten in third to 9 points that you'll get taking second place. So I think it was a good call versus taking on a full Northeption team, but ultimately it is something that, you know, you have to make decisions in those moments. I think Moist will be happy with their performance through 3. Heading into World's Edge, though, guys, I want to start talking about this because the map's changed significantly. Will we continue to see?
Yes.
Let me ask this to you. What will we see here in this transition?
Oh my gosh, this is the first time we're going to see World's Edge on land, so literally anything can happen. But when I think about World's Edge, this has been in competition for so long. The POIs themselves are closer together. You don't have those big, long, open rotations where if you're running a charge rifle or a sentinel, you can kind of get some farming damage. You may be able to look and get a good chunk of information because you're going to see further, but you have smaller rotations. So I think that's going to be favored. So maybe the people that play zone are going to just hit it quick.
Certain teams like Pulverex as well. I'll get your thoughts in just a little bit, but Pulverex actually having a 60%, 57% to be accurate, win percentage in certain areas on World's Edge. So hopefully that improves, as well as some of the teams that desperately need the points. We're coming back and we're taking a trip, not from London, we'll still be here, but to World's Edge in game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more ALGS Split 1 playoffs.
Herman Miller Gaming is the official chair partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Sykes रहता है.
Psyched, huh?
रहता नहीं सर. Gangbang. Threesome.
3-way. Oh my god.
Controller पे को छ सर यसमा थाहा सरलाई?
कुनमा?
यहाँ अहिले खेलिरहेकोमा.
धेरै छ.
WD Black is the official storage
हरेक टिममा एउटा छ. केही नभन्दा.
Well, welcome back everybody to the ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and as you can tell, the accents are a little bit more local. You've got Onset and you've got Gaskin in the booth. London, you are sounding beautiful, by the way, and it's our turn now to take you through what is going to be the final 3 games of today. Dan, let's talk about what we've seen though. Storm Point, done and dusted. It's time for us to move over to World's Edge.
It is, and that means it's far more comfortable for a lot of these teams. Actually, 14 of the 20 teams in this lobby statistically were far better throughout regular season when it comes to World's Edge. So we're going to start to see maybe more traditional rotations, more traditional setups, a lot of late game fights that are going to come right down to the wire, and a few teams that might be able to pick up points in those big moments to try and progress in this table.
And I mean, starting off the day, we were on Storm Point, obviously, and we were a little bit worried it was going to be NA all day with Exit going back-to-back. TSM having that big game one as well. But we saw a little bit of international flavor come back to the fore with Northception with the win. And of course, Moisture's in behind them in second place, Dan. Great to see the universal kind of Apex community coming together there and seeing a little bit of those different regions popping up when they need to.
And I think we needed it in this group. We couldn't allow one team to just start running away with it. Otherwise, then teams are looking at, maybe we can pick up points at second place. Maybe we have to go over to World's Edge and hope that something's going to happen to Exit. Bad news is that Exit actually very good at World's Edge as well. They had so many points in the regular season, so it's not like they're going to drop off suddenly getting into World's Edge here. But I think the bad news for Exit is everyone else should now be getting far better, and maybe those land jitters are going to be starting to fade away as well.
100%, that's a big thing, right? We always talk about that, the land jitters, you get those out of the way. Game number one, it seemed like TSM really didn't have any with those big fights that they won, but everyone's starting to grow into this lobby a little bit. Like I mentioned, you saw Northception with that win in the last game, a lot of KP to go alongside it as well, which is certainly going to boost them up those overall standings. But like a pair of comfy old slippers, you don't want to get rid of. We do go to World's Edge now, and like you say, a lot of these end zones, you have more places to coexist. We know these teams, know their rotations a little bit more. We see everyone's a little bit more comfortable on the stage. I think this is where we're going to see the best Apex Legends that we're going to see today.
Yeah, I'm very interested about drops, right? Where are people going to be landing? We've had changes, teams were dropped out, so now we have teams replacing them. They could throw a little bit of a spanner in the works here. We believe we might see contests down in Thermal between Alliance and Flora. We know full well that Alliance have dominated Thermal for the last few years, right? Suddenly someone coming to try and take that drop spot off them, they are not going to be happy about it, so we will keep an eye on the southwest side of World's Edge and see whether that does go down.
We've seen Alliance holding off a few contests in the international scrims at the build-up to this event as well, but we'll have to keep an eye, of course, like you say, on Thermal Station to see if that fight does go down. But looking across the teams that we've got on our stage here, you can see 100 Thieves, they're going to be ready, but a little bit quiet from them so far today.
It has been a little bit quiet, and perhaps that can just be down to maybe poor performances on Storm Point throughout the season. It's not exactly comfortable for them. World's Edge should be better, but when you look across this whole lobby, you can say that for so many of them now, you can't really rely on one map. As we progress through this tournament, through playoffs, you've got to be good on both, especially when we start to talk about match point later on Sunday. You can't just be good at one, because let's say you get onto match point and then you go over to Storm Point, things are going to really be struggling for you. So you've got to make sure you're consistent across both, and it is certainly a good way to start the tournament if you can find said consistency during the groups.
And we have seen that consistency start to come to the fore for a lot of the teams who are at the top of those leaderboards across their respective pro leagues across the world, because we have just played more games on Storm Points with more competitive lobbies. And as you see those strategies develop, you see the teams who want to hit certain rotations, what spots they want to hold, whatever it might be, and even to a point where teams giving up early zone saying, wait, we can't get hit to this zone. If you're dropping down on the south, we know how hard it is to rotate to the north, and going, this is going to be a KP game for us. We can't expect to win it. We've got to play for points and see if we can get out of this situation.
And you speak about playing for points, and we can look at, how people achieved points. Was it via kills? Was it via placement? Two teams I want to point out in this lobby that I think are going to be a big factor on how the lobby actually plays out is TSM and J-Lings. And the reason being is they are two of our highest kill percentage teams in this lobby when it comes to World's Edge. And traditionally, we wouldn't necessarily think of TSM as a kill-heavy team, but we know now, as a kind of flex edge team, they like to take these fights now. Ever since kind of Raven came into the mix, and they've completely changed how things have gone, they are destroying these World's Edge lobbies when it comes to kills. And that's going to make things a little bit more difficult for people on their rotations, right? If you've suddenly got TSM and J-Lings running around just trying to kind of collapse on you, that rotation's not going to be comfortable.
That's very, very true. And of course, they've managed to completely and utterly own their POI as well that they drop at. Now TSM Lava Siphon, we saw a couple of maybe teams having a look at it. We saw Dark Zero have a little pop. They backed off of it in the international scrims. We saw a couple of other teams. IG had a little bit of pop. They're not going to be there anymore. So they can have complete dominance over one of the strongest POIs on the map, which is why we are seeing such a big point return from them across these lobbies. But there's a couple of other teams that I want to keep an eye on here as well. And SSG are one. SSG we kind of never really talk about at the forefront, but after one game they were at the top of the leaderboards, a little bit quiet in the next two, but I still feel like there's something to be proven here for SSG. Even if you're kind of hearing the mumblings and the rumors, this team is here on LAN, 3 players sat next to each other that played together for such a long time. I want to see him prove a point here.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into mumblings, you can go into rumors, but at the end of the day, everyone is still competitive and will focus on the task at hand, and that is getting a victory, because regardless of what might happen afterwards, as long as you can actually get something done here and now, you can walk away as champions, and then, maybe those mumblings and rumors might suddenly dissipate and won't actually happen. I will say for SSG, when it comes to their landing spot as well, I feel like they should have a pretty comfortable rotation into the center of the map.
mainly because when you look at teams that are around them, they're going to be rotating quite quickly as well, as will a lot of this lobby, it has to be said. And back to TSM and their Lava Siphon drop, they also have quite a comfortable rotation when it's in the middle of the map as well, because they'll be next to Pulverex, and we know Pulverex are such a zone-based team. You even saw it in some of the games on Stormpoint. Yeah. They wouldn't even get kills. They would just get into that final 3. They want points, they want to get into the finals, and they want to make sure they are there on the last day.
And speaking of Pulverex, guys, good to see them with 3 age, isn't it? I gotta say, they were the heart. I mean, there were some amazing teams at the ALGS Championships that we had in Raleigh earlier in the year, but earlier last year, I should say. We were in a new year, Dan Gaskin. But it was, I mean, there was one of the biggest stories coming out of it, wasn't it? It was the Pulverex heart. They were the heart of the tournament. They were the duo. They almost got to that finals lobby as well. Just came up short. But now they have that 3-player lineup. They're going to be here looking to cause some problems. And speaking of problems, this man's caused a few so far today. Sykes on your screen. I mean, he has been beaming as we take a look at some of the highlights that we've seen from XZ so far.
Yeah, considering the hardships that XZ had to face so far this tournament, it doesn't seem to have phased them whatsoever. In fact, some might say they look even a little bit better. They look even more comfortable. But honestly, incredible the first 2 games that we saw on Stormpoint. Okay, it was quite favorable for them in terms of where the circle was going. It was a very central location. They dropped very central at Cascade Falls as well. But you look at the team fights, you look at how they achieved some of these games. It is not an easy victory that was presented to them. They had to fight hard to make sure they won these games.
They did, and they put up a huge amount of kills alongside it as well. And that man on your screen, fun is fun to watch today. And one thing that I saw him, I'm not very good at lip reading, but this one was pretty simple. After game number 2, saw him turn to his right, just go, too easy. Too easy. That's how he's feeling right now. And to be honest with you, my question to you, Dan Gaskin, is that seat in the middle is empty. Seems to be playing pretty well, calling some pretty good zones, you know, marshalling the troops in the way you want an IGL to. Do you think they're just going to keep him in isolation for the next couple of days?
Win and keep him there, that's all I'll say. Don't change what is actually working if Aprok don't fix it. I will say though, in terms of like saying, you know, it's so easy, we're getting back to back, confidence, everything. We talk about it so much in Apex Legends, whether it's going into a fight, whether it's calling a rotation, whether it's making sure that you have the right zone locations, you always need to be confident in every decision you make. And if you are going into those fights thinking, yes, we can win every single engagement, people are going to run away from you. Because you can see it in people's movement. If someone is literally beelining towards you, you can very honestly tell they are going to try and kill us. And sometimes you just got to try and get out of that because you know how difficult it is when you're on the back foot in some of these engagements.
Yeah, and I've got to give a shout as well. Hotsick behind them, obviously one of the smartest minds that we have in all of Apex Legends, making some great calls for them in the build-up to this, preparing his team in the way that you would want them to. I've also got to say, really excited to see XZ picking up that Prowler, because that has been a sleeping giant, a little bit of a buffer. We saw, and let me tell you, if you've got that in the hands of Sykes and he is in a 1v1 engagement, it's not going to take him too much time to put someone on their back.
It's also very quite entertaining to watch that as soon as a gun gets even the slightest of buff, every player seems to adapt and instantly is a god with it as well. It doesn't seem to matter what weapon is going to be the best in their hands. They will always find a way to pick it up and put it to good use. That being said, if you do find yourself maybe with not one of the best weapons, we are still seeing players actually getting kills because, you know, it's a pretty balanced style in terms of this game. Every gun can do some damage in the right situation at the right time.
And even that little shift, right, moving certain weapons into the crafter, you know, the Carl was at the front end of all of the SMGs when it came to whoever was picking up, especially if you had the roller in your hand, you were picking up that car. Now that that's put in there alongside this scout, it means there's a little bit of a change up in some of the longer distance weapons that we're seeing. Some of the chip damage, the Evo shield, kind of boosting weapons, if you want to call it that. We're seeing the 30-30 come to the fore a little bit more. Of course, the charge rifle is still going to be big in those long-range battles and engagements, but it's interesting to see the Volt coming back into the fore as well, Dan, as that lead SMG for a lot of these players.
Yeah, it is, because otherwise, you know, if you get too stuck and hell-bent on playing one particular style with one particular gun, you are going to get to a point where as soon as these changes happen, you don't really know where to go. So that's why these players are always making sure they are picking up every single weapon. They are at the very best with anything that may be in their hands. And it's incredible to see the consistency from players regardless of players.
Well, it looks like we've got a little bit of an issue on stage at the moment, a technical issue. We're going to try and get that sorted as quickly as we can. But in the meantime, we'll take a quick look at the wonderful faces here in the Copper Box in London. But we're going to take a break in the meantime. When we get back, we'll have that game ready for you. We'll see you in just a moment.
Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the Apex Legends Global Series.
So, सुनिसक्यो लाइभ राखेर गएको थियो
त्यस्तै हो अघिसम्म बोल्दै थिए सर खै
त्यो त लौडै हुनु पर्छ त्यो त लौडै हो
आउनु सर
YOLO
यो लौडो लौडो
कहाँ पुगिसक्यो त घर पुगिसक्यो
कामै छु है कामै छु
Herman Miller Gaming is the official chair partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Who is Herman Miller?
Welcome back, everyone, to the ALGS playoffs. Split one, of course, is done and dusted, and when it's time for us to wrap things up, Dan, hopefully we can get into the game as soon as we can. We've seen some Storm Point. It's time for us to go to some World's Edge. We've kind of had a little bit of time to discuss what we think we're going to see, but let's talk about leaderboards. Let's talk about who's performed. Let's talk about who's been a little bit quiet so far today, Dan. We've seen Exit obviously popping off a little bit, and I'm sure that everyone in London has enjoyed that as well. But who are the teams you've got your eye on? Who needs to step it up a little bit going to our final three games?
It's not looking great for Oxygen, for example. Oxygen have been somewhat underperforming, haven't really been able to get into those late game situations, and have not been able to replicate the success we saw in regular season on Storm Point. And it doesn't get much better when we look at World's Edge, because Oxygen really underperformed in World's Edge throughout regular season. I mean, only 39% of their points were actually from World's Edge. So they have to find something different here on LAN. And it's all well and good for us to talk about the teams that are successful on World's Edge, the teams that are going to be good on World's Edge. But actually, I want to look at the teams who need to be good on World's Edge, because these guys know how to play it, right? This is not a new map for them. Yes, they may have struggled. Yes, they have not found a victory on this map yet throughout regular season, as well as 4 other teams in this lobby have not found a victory on World's Edge. But it can all change at LAN, and that can very much change your momentum.
Yeah, if you get to LAN and you get that first win, then you're like, I don't care that I didn't get any Pro League, to be honest, because these are the ones that matter. These are the kills that matter. And speaking of Oxygen, you can see them on your screen right now. You've got Hill in the middle, the IGL, the man who's making the calls for his team. And I got to say, I spoke to him earlier. I said, Hill's looking trim, man. He's looking in good shape. And he was like, dude, I've been putting in the work.
He's trying to look more like you, it would seem. Just trying
never try and do that.
No, never tried. But
no,
he's
looking. You just end up losing all your hair. It's
almost as big as you. But I will say that when you look at these teams who haven't found wins, I'll call them out, all right? I'll be honest.
All right.
X, Godfire, Oxygen, FCD, and Leave No Witness. None of these teams season. That would suggest that they are all going to struggle when it comes to World's Edge. But if we suddenly see them get, a top 5, a top 3, you start to get that these team fights. But we've seen throughout regular season, top 3s are great, but actually suddenly your composition is very important once we get to that late game.
Yeah, it certainly is indeed, and we are seeing, 100 Thieves, for example, we were talking ourselves, why they've had so many top 5 placements, but not being able to convert those into wins throughout the season. And we were kind of looking at Newcastle. Does that offer offensively on a Legend what you need to be able to win those engagements in the end game? And it seems you saw them on Storm Point, a little bit of a change from them. Maybe they were thinking the same kind of thing, and we'll have to see if that does develop and if that's going to bring a little bit more success to them in those end games. Well, thank you again for joining us. This is where we find ourselves. If you're just joining us, where have you been? We've only got 3 maps left today. And 3 games to get through.
MNK चाहिँ दाउदी गर्नलाई राखेको हुन्छ हैन अनि कन्ट्रोलरबाट त गेम प्ले भयो
excuse me with the back-to-back. Northception though with that game number 3.
And that will give Northception now so much belief going into 4 to 6 that they can make a difference in this lobby, and it's not going to be a cakewalk for Exet. And I think other teams now, seeing finally a different winner, will say, all right, okay, it's not just going to be an Exet walkthrough. We can match them. What did Northception do that was different to what we've been achieving? Now we've got a new map as well.
First day. आज के सुरु आज हुन्छ भोलि हुन्छ पर्सि हुन्छ नि पछि 4 दिन हुन्छ
at the end of the day, you're not going to get that many games to prove yourself here
here, and then suddenly you could be dropping into the elimination.
That's a big thing as well, isn't it? You know, you get
चारवटा
to
ग्रुप
this
हुन्छ
stage of the land
यस्तो हुन्छ क्या
environment, you've been waiting for this
म
time.
केटाहरूलाई सम्झाइदिन्छु ल ठ्याक्क
किन पज गरे
एबिसिडी हुन्छ क्या ग्रुप होइन आज ए भर्सेस बी पर्छ होइन अनि अहिले अर्को फेरि बी भर्सेस डी के अरे सी भर्सेस डी पनि परिरहेको छ क्या ब्याकग्राउन्डमा बुझ्यो अनि भोलि फेरि ए भर्सेस सी पर्छ अनि बी भर्सेस डी पर्छ क्या अनि फेरि नेक्स्ट टाइम चाहिँ अनि ए भर्सेस डी अनि सी भर्सेस बी पर्छ क्या बुझ्यो बुझिरहेको छ केटाहरूले अनि त्यहाँबाट विनर्स ब्र्याकेट हुन्छ क्या बुझ्यो विनर्स ब्र्याकेट भनेको चाहिँ टप 10 मा पर्नेहरू होइन अब ग्रुप एमा अब ग्रुप ए र बीमा हुन्छ नि होइन होइन टोटल टप 20 चाहिँ विनर्स ब्र्याकेट भयो उनीहरू विनर्स ब्र्याकेट खेल्छ अनि 20 देखि उतासम्म 40 सम्म चाहिँ लुजर्स ब्र्याकेट भयो होइन उनीहरू चाहिँ अनि लुजर्स ब्र्याकेट खेल्छ क्या लुजर्स ब्र्याकेटको विनर्स ब्र्याकेटमा हार्ने हुन्छ नि लाइक अब 10 भन्दा उता आउनेहरू चाहिँ फेरि लुजर्स ब्र्याकेटको विनरसँग पर्छ अनि लुजर्स ब्र्याकेटमा हार्नेहरू चाहिँ सबै घर जान्छ क्या त्यहाँ डाइरेक्ट अनि फेरि लुजर्स ब्र्याकेटको विनर र विनर्स ब्र्याकेटको लुजर्सहरू पर्छ होइन अनि त्यो परेबाट त्योबाट विनरहरू कति हुन्छ त्यसजना चाहिँ उता गएर अनि विनर्स ब्र्याकेटको विनर्सहरूसँग पर्छ अनि त्यो चाहिँ फाइनल हो क्या दाल भुटेको दिमागले अलि बुझ्दैन
एउटै रहेछ
आज कसम एउटा केटा आएको होइन जले जस्तो यार
त्यस्तो
बिहान रक्सी खाएर त
मासर गालामा रक्सी हान्छ नि त झन् रक्सी खान नबाबेला आज
खाना धेर्दै मुला जाटा ग्याप भएर फुटलिली भएको
तेरो बाजे कति बजिरहेछ यता निन्द्रले मान्छे चुप भइरहेछ 1 बजिसक्यो
नलाउँदा मुला 1 बजेसम्म त पहिला सुत्छ
तेरो बाजे पहिलातिर त 2 बजे उठेर रक्सी खान जान्थ्यो नि पहिलो कुरा गरेर अनि अहिले कहाँ पहिला आएको सर बानी चेन्ज भइसक्यो नि
लास्ट रनियर चाहिँ भन्छ त्यसले
now on a Thursday to see these 6 games. So I need everybody in the copper box to give me everything for 3 more games of action. I can't wait to get into World's Edge, man. I love World's Edge, you know me.
Also, a lot of you were here before 5 o'clock, and I will question, why weren't you at work? It doesn't matter though, because you're here. It's match number 4. It's World's Edge. I'm ready to get in. I'm sure the players are now locked and loaded, and I will remind you of the teams I want to look out for. Dreamfire, Gamewood, SSG, XM, TSM, and J-Lings all performed fantastically on
35,693.
I'm getting them going, Dan. Or they're getting me going.
अनि युट्युबमा छुट्टै छ फेरि भ्युर अनि बी स्ट्रिममा छुट्टै छ फेरि
is about to travel across World's Edge and we get to see some guns firing and some bodies dropping.
And are we going to see that contest happening in Thermal Station? That's the big
ओ त्यो बिचारा अप्टिक गेमिङको फ्यान रहेछ अप्टिक छैन क्या यसपालि फेरि छिर्दैन नि अप्टिक
Thermal really by the scruff of the neck.
Hey, we've got a couple of people flexing in the crowd there. I'm going
Yo,
to say
thank you for the like.
It's pretty tight, but anyway, let's look across at some of the other people that are here enjoying themselves and shout out to you, London. The next 3 days are going to be even bigger and better.
के रे
I'll tell you what, 3 more games today, Dan. I got to say, it's great to be back.
के रे वाच पार्टी गर्न मिल्छ के
Always manages to turn up
त्यही गरेर
and do it right.
Well, here we go then, everybody. The
Sent
wait
no
is
star,
over.
huh?
To the left-hand side, I can see that drop ship is moving, and it's time
Big
for us
answer.
to get into this game. Let's take a little look at where we're going to be dropping early on. We're not going to see too much that we wouldn't expect.
कमेन्ट
But
हानेर
as you
छन् सरलाई
कसले सर
100 स्टार 1000 स्टार गाइज
फ्युजहरु
I am honest sir
के गेमको साउन्ड उड्यो
हैन यहाँ कमान्ड सेन्टर हेर्न खोजेको छैन
well, hopefully we can see
हलालहरु जहिले त्यही हो सर लाभा साइफोन
teams are dropping. This is where they're spreading out, and no surprise that we're going straight over to Thermal Station. Hackis, he's found himself a Peacekeeper, which is a wonderful thing to find on drop.
It's a very brave thing to walk into Alliance's territory and to challenge them. And I tell you what, they've already got one blue shield to work with, and you can see they are just going to spread out the loot here to make sure they can fight against Flora here. But in terms of weapons, what have they been able to achieve on the other side would be my big question, because Alliance look good enough. I mean, an alternator can do a lot of damage in the early stages of this game.
Like they're trying to juggle a couple of armors outside as well, and this could be big. Looks like the plan might be to queue up all together, take this fight, get some damage down, and then if they have to fall, there's an armor swap waiting there for them to try and stabilize for a few moments. But this is a big moment for both of these teams. Like we said, every game, massive hit.
Arcstar on one side, and then the lift comes up the other side, and this is the engagement they want. The longer this fight goes on, the less likely these teams are to win this game, because you are just delaying your looting possibilities here.
Well, you saw that Manny took damage, so he had to think about taking that Horizon Q a second time. They decided now is not the time to push, and now they have that on cooldown. They do not have that ability to take the high ground. You ask what the weaponry is going to be like on the other side of things, well, you can see just an L-Star to work with here for Pinnacle.
Yeah, I think ammo might be a bit scarce for Flora here, so they will have one opportunity, you'd imagine, to win this engagement if they choose to take it. But considering where they are in Thermal right now, if they try and escape, if they try and run, and they want to take this fight, and how they want to take this fight. Of course, Alliance will be waiting for the next Horizon Graviton lift here to make sure they can get up and they can get involved again.
Command center चलेन TSM के हेर्न मजा आउँछ डाइरेक्ट.
Is it going to be a case of just waiting this one out, waiting for some opening damage? But a lot of pressure actually coming in, of course, from the substitute, which is going to be Mandy. He's the man who's playing Horizon, and you can see that Yuki's trying to cause a distraction here. He's going to hit the jets and try and get up high. Now the fight comes in. Flora trying to hold.
Flora trying to hold and will slightly push them back, but I don't think they can get up again. And now Flora will get the opportunity to reset once more. Did they do enough damage? It doesn't look like they feel they have done, because if they had, they would instantly be dropping here, Flora.
Question is here, what are the meds like on either side as well? Because this might be a smarter game plan than we're giving them credit for. Doing damage, knowing how many meds are going to be at the top of that central structure here, the drill structure inside a thermal station. If they can burn through the meds, chip away at the damage, it means that Flora at some point on that high ground will be sitting ducks or forced to fight, and that looks like what Flora are trying to do here.
Yeah, they have dropped, they want to get involved, they have a lift of their own. Mahakis is going to go down here, and suddenly Flora have taken the advantage.
Now you see the pressure, headshot going to come in with that wingman. Yuki and Mandy got it all to do. There's one. It's a 2v1 now in the favor of Alliance. Mandy on his own, hardly any armor to work with, no swaps here. It's a 1v1 with barely any HP on each side.
Both of them are so low. Mandy, though, gets some cells off. That could be massive. He has the advantage in terms of health right now.
Mozambique here. Also got the ultimate, but no, he bounces off the back of the player's head. Big moments here. Good news for both teams. No one in the vicinity to try and third party this fight, so this is a completely isolated 1v1, but you have to say the advantage is surely with Manny, the sub. It's filling in here for Alliance. They're going to go up, and now it's
Third try गरा यार मैंने.
जितायो. Flora win the great battle of Thermal Station, and the entirety of the southwest of the map is now theirs, because everyone else on the map has now rotated, because that fight went on for so long. We are going north with this circle. We are going all the way up to Climatizer. About 10 of our teams have already found themselves within Climatizer, but it is going to be Flora who get point number 1 in what is going to be a very interesting battle across these next 3 games.
It's great. That fight went on so long. I didn't even look at where the zone was, to be honest with you. And as you can see, it looks like it is going to the northern side.
आम्म के हो सबैजना क्लाइमेटाइजरमा जम्या हेरौँ छ त्यहाँ सर्भे क्याम्पतिर
हलालहरु खैदैन
हलाल त्यहाँ फ्र्यागमेन्टमा
Right on that respawn beacon, but it's always a good idea to look at some of these teams, are hard zone teams.
एउटा लाइभ सिफन झरेर उता फ्र्यागमेन्ट गएको
right in that respawn beacon area that I talked about. Yeah,
सर त्यहाँ क्या त्यो लाभा भएको ठाउँ क्या सर यहाँ लाभा साइफन भन्ने हामी जहिले झर्छ त जहिले त हामी स्काई हुर्छ नि हो तर हुन्छ नि अलि हट खेल्दै झर्छ नि हामी त्यहाँ लाभा साइफन ओ TSM ले उठायो किल एउटा
Very, very close. So both teams have to be extremely careful. And look at these shots coming in from Verhulst. Big E is stepping up today.
As I mentioned, 58% of TSM's points came from kills on World's Edge throughout regular season.
गर्नै मिल्दैन नि कस्तो कुरा आएर तले ल्यानो यार
the pieces of teams that might be weak
nearby when they play Edge. They've also got beacon information, which is going to be very handy. And of course, a lot of teams are going to be looking to get that beacon 2 information a little bit later. Godfire also get eliminated, and we're down to 16 squads.
16 squads already, like you say. We see 4 teams already fall out of this lobby. Alliance the first to go. NorCal Esports, Al Godfight, and Leave No Witness all will have to wait for game number 5 to have some sort of effect on their leaderboards and how they're going to look. But TSM, you can see them at the moment just surveying the area. They know there's a couple of teams around. They also know there was one player that did stay alive from Game Ward, so they're going to have to try and hunt him down. If they can find Psychop, who's just scarpering away there towards Climatizer, there might be a little bit of KP on offer for them. But for now, it's about finishing the downs, grabbing the extra loot, and continuing on that merry path.
And we've seen TSM play a circle very similar to this throughout regular season, where they do Valkyrie in late, try and find one of the priority positions, and they've already got the kills as well. They've already got that KP. But it's not always as simple as it may sound, especially when we see this many teams already north of Survey Camp, and we're having one heck of a battle in the train tracks, as well. XET looking to try and take advantage of maybe a position they found very early in this game.
Nocturnal on the Bangalore as well. He's going to be putting some smokes down, and the good thing is he's got a little bit of a digi-threat to work with as well, so he's going to be able to see through the clouds and force that team back, so they have complete utter control of this train tunnel now, and looking to do a little bit more damage here with a 30-30, and look at that thing. You could not ask for more.
हुन चाहिँ होस् त यार लुट पाउने पोसिबिलिटी बढाइदिन्छ जस्तो छ है र्याङ्कमा एकै र्याङ्क टुनीमा
Several others they're also going to be able to really make a difference in where they were dropping on the north.
फेरि कसको लुट हेर्यो भने बिचारा घिनलाग्दो लुट छ फेरि यिनीहरुलाई
Teams that had priority right from the get-go. They had free choice of where they wanted to be moving, and they both went train tracks way. I do think you're right. I think it's most likely going to pull out towards that beacon, and it is going to be very difficult for people to actually try and push if someone already resides there.
Damage being done already by Fun. You can see he's only 6 damage points away from getting that Evo shield all the way up to purple, and XET already looking for double purple gold, and that is a good way to start the game. It gives you a little bit more confidence when you go into those fights, knowing that you've already done the work to give yourself the HP to survive and certainly thrive towards that end game. But it looks like I mentioned they've got complete and utter control of the train tracks now. They've forced both teams away. They now can take a little bit of time to establish what their next step is going to be, and it's going to be interesting to see what Zone does towards that beacon. Is he going to pull a little bit more further away towards Survey Camp? We're going to have to see how that progresses.
By the way, Flora still haven't moved outside of the red. They are still making their journey from Thermal Station after winning that elongated fight with Alliance. So they'll be arriving very late. It's whether they'll be greeted by some edge teams when they arrive and be completely punished for how long that fight went on. But it does seem like they were able to loot for a long time because people move so quickly to the northern side of this map up towards Survey Camp. It is a circle that people can heavily bank on the north, and that's why we saw so much movement.
TSM still just holding down the ridge, overlooking Fragment at the moment, trying to pick off any teams that are going to labour and take behind and making sure their backs are clear. Such an important thing to do as that zone, of course, starts to close in a little bit. J-Lings Esports, they're in a great position. This is one of the priority positions, I would say, for either of these zones. You can get up on this high ground, and you can control these big rocks that, like you see here, they can control any team who's making us northern rotation.
Last year, out home this
compound, but also towards that end game, you have such good lines of sight of the teams who might be stacked up inside of epicenter.
Yeah, you can pick off a lot of free kills as well. And for a team like J-Lings, kill heavy when it comes to regular season, they'll be looking to try and replicate that now here on LAN, and I'm very excited to see it because when they were VZN, now J-Lings, they love getting involved in a scrap. They were a fantastic 3v3 team, but sometimes would be a little bit too aggressive and would find themselves getting third-partied. But it seemed like as the season went on, they matured, they started to learn, they started to adapt. It's the perfect time for them to
Apex competitive-मा त्यसलाई कुनै उले किनेको छैन के पहिला गोल्डन गार्डनले किनेको थियो जिजीले मिल्छ सर 0-0 देखाएर
a great story, and I'm sure they're looking to keep moving on that trajectory. Maybe get towards that finals lobby and see what they can do. But look at Nax now, threading the needle with his charge rifle. He's only got the 2 times on it. Just finding some bodies to play with.
Yeah, those two are going to be arriving late. Are going to have to be careful because there are charge rifles in a lot of different positions. You've already seen them across of World's Edge. So you've got to plan your rotates accordingly. You need to make sure that you are watching certain angles, but also have the direction of where you are.
TSM guys. क्यों रेप्स है पर त्यसको बहुत TSM है नि हो त स्पेस स्टेसन हो Space is this. Space. Oh, यसमा चाहिँ हुन्छ रियासम ल यता पनि छैन
के पिउने हो मामा
He went all the way back. If the fight was free, then it paused. Remember Danaski, this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. But we just need to hold it back.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
43 purple on fear.
I'm not picking them.
They're Valco. That's good. They're the Valco. They're blues.
The British team's still there, by the way. Careful.
This is even better.
No, Zlingsमा छ क्या अब TSM को
Hello, sir.
Come to me.
Yeah, छक्का त देखिन्छ यार सर.
Look.
Turn on your fucking idiot.
What's wrong there?
माउस को देखाएको त सर बटन यो त कन्ट्रोलर प्लेयर हैन र
कन्ट्रोलर हो
अनि माउस को कसरी देखाइराख त अनि
त्यो स्पेक्टेटरको जे हुन्छ त्यो अनुसारको देखाउँछ के सर ओइ के हो अबे दामी कोटो त
And that is going to throw a spanner in the works ever so slightly, but TSM still with a very big advantage here. Rip through that shield. Utilize your own shield to stay alive.
Now using that knockdown shield to give his teammates a little bit of an opportunity here to heal, to reset. They know it's a 2v2. One player on either side has been knocked. With this noise that's going down there, is anyone else in the vicinity to try and cause some problems here? How hasn't been finished yet, so they might be able to stick the res here, Dan.
Yeah, stick the res because Passion are in the vicinity. You are completely right, but Circle is going to be moving, which is very much going to speed up this fight as well. But TSM back up to 3. I think they'll be very happy with that. They forced J-Lings away, and now they should be able to reset here. A successful fight.
TSM going to be able to loot up a little bit, as you see. 15 squads now remaining as they walk their way towards zone. But now what's the next step in this process for TSM? Who do they try and fight? Who do they try and take a spot off of? And J-Lings, you can see, down to 1 now. Zane, he's probably thinking, we need to fight the team, we need to watch our backs. He was hoping it was anybody but TSM in that situation.
Honestly, TSM might just be able to walk into this circle.
के छ अहिले म्यापको हालचाल जुमै गर्न मिल्दैन फेरि
He finds 2 and the one clips. He's going to make it 3! You are a maniac!
1v3. Performance from Zane in the 1 versus 3. Catches them off guard. He avoids TSM. He rotates wide. And he completely catches Passion off guard.
3 clips, 3 kills for Zane. That's about as good as you could possibly ask for, and now you can see, not only is that extra points, but he's got a pretty good spot to overlook some of these teams rotating in with how he's shooting at the moment. Anybody who steps out from behind cover is going to get hurt.
And J-Lings might call it a hat-trick, but it certainly was a 3-piece that I will want to see over and over again. But now it's about where you go from here. 13 squads remaining. You can see you can rotate north and try and get on the kind of cheeky side of this circle, but there are going to be teams in that vicinity. There are going to be teams that will make it awkward. If we can see the map, you can see there's a lot of teams. Look at everyone just building around the middle side here.
Well, SSG taking some damage. Notable kill, though, in the kill feed there. You saw a member of TSM going down to exit. The North American powerhouses exchanging a little bit of a fight, but here's Flora now. Fresh off the back of that win, of course, over at Thermal Station, but now flat on their back, one of their players looking to try and turn this one back into their favor, but this is a fight on the edge of zone. Are they going to be able to stick the res? It looks like that is the call, but then a little bit of of an audio cue might allow the team on the low ground to push.
Yeah, and now you've got Sia coming into the equation as well. SSG drop, looking to try and lead the charge, do some damage, but they're also very aware Circle is going to be closing, so they've got to speed this up. They need to get into this fight quickly and can't allow this res to get off.
Resi is going to be stuck. And now you're going to see SSG in a lot of trouble. They do forward. Flora win another team fight here. And that'll be at least 6 KP for them. And Mike, I mean, he's got 6 KP himself.
Yeah, 7 kills across the board, and that is going to give them so much confidence, but they have to move very quickly on the southern side. TSM in a spot of bother as TSM eliminated in 12th place. Unfortunately, they weren't able to comfortably walk into this zone. So many teams on the southeast side of this circle, Mark, and the teams that have been able to get up to that beacon we were speaking of, they are sitting pretty.
Northception, who came off the back of the win on our last game that we saw on Storm Point. Looking pretty good in this one as well. 11 squads now remaining, but they've got to force their way into zone and taking some damage as they try to do so. Tidy's going to get that exhibit down. That's going to give them the information. Now they're going to try and move forward as well off the back of the Bangalore smokes, but there's a lot of teams stacked up under this building. It's an Apex Legends sandwich down, and they want to be the jam.
There's a lot of teams that not enough space. Northception, they get eliminated. FC Destroy also out. As now Oxygen, they will claim this building. They have a little bit of time to relax. But as I've said, there are about 5 teams all around Oxygen right now. However, Exet, Dreamfire, Pulverix, they're the 3 teams that have got the priority positions.
Who are the teams that we kind of highlighted need to maybe find a little bit of form in this lobby? You're looking at Oxygen. Oxygen are involved in this last fight. You're 100 Thieves. They're just about inside of where that zone's going to be in that truck as well. Moist Esports, who had a great game last time we saw them out, and now hoping that Wolsey can pull off a little bit of a miracle. He can't. Moist Esports will be eliminated and Oxygen hold their ground.
Does this open things up for 100 Thieves though? They were right above Oxygen. I think Oxygen are well aware. Crook tries to get out of dodge. He wants to escape. He wants to elongate his life so they can get as many points as possible. 100 Thieves will claim that building, which is going to be the kind of most advanced building towards the circle right now from this southeast side.
Interesting to see. No one inside of that zone. The zone's going to be finishing way out in the open on those high rocks like I mentioned. So if you are a team who's at the northern side of this zone, you are going to have fun. Who is that team? It's the heart of the Apex Legends Championships. It's Pulverix who are up there, Dan.
And here we can see the lay of the land. Pulverix on the north, Dreamfire just west of them. Those 2 teams are going to have to fight on the northern side. And you could argue in a very good spot to win this game. It will really depend on how much they damage each other. But down south, who knows what's going to happen down there? Exet are going to try and hold everyone out. If they have success, they might have free reign of that south side.
Exet trying to make the move. You can see Nocturnal moving across a little bit towards where that zone is going to be pulling. He's trying to scout, and he's trying to pin these 2 teams in, which are down on that southern side. If they can find that position to do so, then maybe they will be able to hold these teams out and pick up the KP. Back down to earth, and Exet now ahead of the pack, looking to pick up free KP. Flora eliminated.
Flora, they did so well in this game, but Nocturnal managed to do so much damage as now Exet will push up to the south side. They've got the smoke for cover.
63 points उठाइसक्यो अरे Exet.
Still trying to move up as a full 3-man behind the last 2 remaining members of Exet here. Exet have to be extremely careful, and the question is, are these smokes going to be enough to allow the mates to turn this into a 2v2 situation?
36 are going to be in the vicinity. They are not going to allow Exet to get away.
It's Zane!
Zane is still alive, still shredding as he gets into the top 5.
Zane is insane!
Oh, क्यों मारा
got breakfast, Zane. I want some as well.
It's got to be a full English, surely. J-Ling's into the top 4, and now Zane, the kill leader. Remember, he's been a solo for quite some time, and he's still going. Still hit shots, but has to calm it down. He wants to try and get into the top 3 here. Still has to think about placement points.
I think he just wants to kill everyone, Dan. I don't think he cares at this point. Put a body in front of him, he's going to shoot it, and he's going to make it fall. The only thing that can stop him, Dan, it's got 9 bullets. He needs to find some light ammo.
But we've still got Dreamfight, we've still got Pulverix, those 2 teams I was talking about on the north side. But now E36, the team that drops kind of in this area, are going to be able to make a real threat towards this late game. Aimbot, it looks like they're going to be making a rotation round. I think they've spotted that Zane might be a solo.
Doesn't matter. Zane in a solo. Zane is a Terminator at the moment.
Oh,
anyone who's going to challenge him, well, they're certainly going to take some damage. Look at this. Zane's like, you know what? I'll take you all on. He's going to throw the black hole down. He's going to try and finish off 1 kill. It's another one here for Zane. Surely tries to get the armor swap. Not going to happen, but what a performance from Zane and J-Leagues. A valiant effort towards this end game.
And here comes the Battle of the North. Dreamfire and Pulverex are going down on this northern side, are getting involved. So much damage, which will open things up for E36.
Well, it looks like Pulverex have given up that northern spot, though. You can see now they find themselves down to a 2, mate. Shumbi's going to go down as well. Pulverex eliminated. We're down to 2. And it's Dreamfire versus E36, the teams who are holding down the very northern and southern tips of this fight. Dreamfire getting the first knock, and now surely they can close this one out.
And I said Dreamfire, best performing team in World's Edge, and they're going to try and carry it on, but it's not done yet.
It's not done yet, but now it is. Dreamfire step up. And our first game on World's Edge, and I tell you what, I've missed this. A massive win for them, as we have our third winner in 4 games.
Throughout the regular season, Dreamfire, in this lobby, the best World's Edge team when it comes to points secured. And I tell you what, you deserve a little wave to the crowd, because what a big
Gay.
The way they held the northern side of that zone, the way they kept Pulverex back as well. They were both fighting those priority positions, but Dreamfire, the damage they kept outputting made it so difficult for Pulverex.
I think, yeah, the thing that you mentioned there, Pulverex, they were the team who had the option to maybe stop Dreamfire, but Dreamfire, we talk about taking risks and taking important fights towards endgame, deciding to push the team in the prio position because they had the opportunity to do so. By doing that, they control the entire end circle. They have that height, they have the opportunity to rain down the fire, but with all due respect to them, massive win, congratulations. I feel like there's one player we need to kind of highlight here, Dan.
Yeah, you can't really look at that game and not talk about Zayn and what he was able to achieve from J-Lings. They were pushed by TSM. He was left as a solo, walks around, destroys the entire team of Passion. We see them put down more shots, we go away. We don't know what's happened. Is he still alive? We come back and he's doing it again. To be able to score that much points on your own for your team is worth its weight in gold, and really could be the difference between you getting to kind of finals or not.
Absolutely insane. I mean, that's game number 1 done on, of course, World's Edge, game number 4 overall, and we've given our thoughts. It's time to hear from the desk and see what they've got to say.
There's only one word to say after that one, and it starts with a Z or a Z since I'm here in London, and it's Zayn, baby. The crowd I felt a tingling in my body watching some of the things that I saw Zayn do. I didn't think it was possible. I know Dreamfire won. Congrats again, another APAC North win, but Zayn stole the show, Tiff, undoubtedly.
I mean, look, is that the buff of just announcing your org today, J-Lings Esports? They had been sitting on that for a bit. They announced it, and to come out in such a dominating performance, right? Usually, if you're going to be the last member alive, you want to salvage some placement points. Bro was just sending it. He's like, oh, what? There's 3 of you? I'll take it. I don't care. I'll take this any day. And you know, like, he made it look like they were standing still.
Possibly the best single-player performance that we have seen, you know, in LAN, let alone on this stage this weekend. That is going to be in highlight clips for years to come. I mean, yeah, incredible tracking. You know, taking them out all one by one. Just wow.
Shout out to our producers as well. You know, I'm begging, can we see this again? Can we get this back? I need to see some more Zayn. It all started off, though, in a very interesting fight with Alliance and Flora, Tiff.
Look, this contest I have been watching happening in scrims over and over. And I would say it's been about 50-50, right? Usually Mandy will get some opening kills and it'll turn the tides. But Hack is Chow's for that tower and usually the guns that are sitting on top. Well, this time they had Flora sitting up top, right? They didn't have a lot of resources, and I thought they were going to have the upper hand when Flora decided to flank. Now, when I got scared was when I saw Mandy with that Mozambique in his hand, because I remember at the beginning of Pro League, he once told Hackett, my beak go crazy. It did not, in fact, go crazy in that moment, but overall, we'll see how it goes on the next map.
Something to be worried about, Gino, but then it became the story of TSM going up against J-Lings, and that was when Zayn...
Yeah, here we go. I mean, the R301 known accuracy, and he certainly put that on display for the first two. Then he switches over and says, you know, look, I've been in that firing range. I know how all these guns work, and he does not miss a bullet.
You know, and there was a little video on Twitter where people were saying, you guys thought it was wall hacks, you thought it was aimbot, you thought it was all this stuff. He's doing it at LAN. I think it was Nags actually recording it saying, no, this guy's the real deal. quite possibly the best aim at land, quite possibly the best aim we have seen in Apex Legends. What a moment from him.
No, tell the law.
Making it into the top 7 as well. So
here
here to end the run there for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves पनि खाइदिएछ त्यसले है
Ultimately be
त्यहाँ नि मारिसकेको
Dreamfire would take the win, which is a big deal for them. Trying to get their rhythm, they found it here on World's Edge.
Yeah, which is exciting for them right now. Granted, they came into London last minute. I believe they had 29th at
भरे 400 ड्यामेज हानेरले जितेर क्या
This has got to feel really good. I think they were here maybe for 20 hours in London, so maybe they just needed to warm up a little bit. You can see the vibes. They are on top. Let's check it out. 17 points for Dreamfire there in match 4.
And look at that, though. Interforce Genome. Sorry to cut you off, but 18 points. I mean, they actually did better than Dreamfire.
Number 4
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the love. He deserves that guy. You know, look, along with Zayn, I would say, definitely one of the most mechanically skilled players out there. And, you know, of course, this isn't the full Dreamfire roster, right? We've got Ems and Pete not able to make it over here with him. But we did see, you know, these guys run it back at champs before. So they have had some experience. Weirdly enough, you know, pretty much only together on LAN with Bolin and Tao.
You know, a big moment there for a lot of those squads to kind of step things up, and that is where you have to see a Game 4. It's kind of like that transition game. Game 5 now, it's kind of do or die, because if you're not in a position to really challenge for first, second, or third, you're not going to be able to have enough time with only Game 6 away. TSM notably in the bottom half alongside Alliance, who take another 0. Let's take a look at the series standings as well. I think we have those available. It is XSET still on top, 65 points. They have certainly come to play to start off their tournament. Interforce, though, grabbing second because of that great game they had just last Game 4. Northeption with a win as well. Moist Esports, notably, and J-Links, 2 teams outside in the top 5, but without wins yet, Genome. So that's looking very good for them.
Yeah, Moist incredibly consistent so far. I mean, they've been consistent in always making that final day of LAN, and if they keep this up, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be doing that again.
And Tiff, Dreamfire sitting in 10. That's actually surprising, considering they just won Game 4. It kind of also tells you the story of how they really did need to step it up. I know we said this is the moment they needed to, they're doing it, but now heading into Game 5 and 6, is this the start of something new, or is this really, you know, just maybe a once shot in the dark here for Dreamfire? What's your anticipation?
I'm going to give it to Gaskin, right? He's our stats man. You heard him say that they have one of the most winning percentages on World's Edge. So this was map 4, first game on World's Edge. What do we see? Dreamfire takes a W. They could just have better rotations or feel more confident on this map, and it's clearly showing. So I don't think this is a one-off. They could, like XSET, decide to double down and win another one right after this.
That's true.
You really never know. I mean, it's just day 1 here at ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and it's crazy.
One thing that I love talking about, but also that troubles me, right? Because I always think to the big show on Sunday. You have to be able to win not just on World's Edge, but on Stormpoint. Dreamfire, because they just won, great performance, but on Stormpoint, it was non-existent. So how do they correct that? How do teams go about looking at that and identifying it, Genome? Is it just time? But, you know, what's your take on the fact that you've got to have that consistency on both maps to really get it done?
Yeah, it's really hard when your landing spots can be so different and they can dictate so much of how you play, right? You know, both loot quality and you know, your rotation paths can just be completely different. So I think for Dreamfire, you know, having those differences between the 2 maps, sometimes it's a little bit hard, you know, sometimes you know, you've been playing for a spot for a lot longer, and you just have so much more experience there that when you come to LAN, you don't necessarily get the POIs that you have in your home region where you're always going to be one of the stronger teams.
Right.
It can be really hard to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, I have to, you know, talk a little bit about KCP. You know, looking at the other side of it, they are sitting at 0 points after 3. Going out in 20th place, contesting every single time. That is kind of the challenge of the wild card of the group stage, because now you're playing AD, AC the next 2 games, and everything shifts again and again. It actually becomes a little bit more consistent for these teams once we get into the elimination brackets and the winners brackets, because you kind of know what you're going up against if you don't have to adjust that much.
That's true, but we got to get there first, right? You want to make your way into that winners bracket as quickly as humanly possible. So starting here and now is exactly what they need to do, and XSET is poising themselves to do exactly that. And I mean, yeah, if they play this consistently throughout the groups, it's going to be fine. I said it earlier. Yeah. Consistency is key. You have 6 games in a series to make something happen, and they've really extended their lead, and no one's really able to chow for that.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, the play level that you have, you know, in the group stages versus that final lobby, completely different. You have to be a much better team to succeed on the final day than you are right here. But also the tempo and how well you need to do, right? I mean, at the moment, it's, you know, the top half are going into winners bracket, bottom half going into losers bracket. So you only need to be in that top half. It's very different to Sunday, where everyone is playing for that first spot.
Going over a little bit as well into our other side,
Who is
Group
that
C
blonde
versus
name?
D. It's
What is the
actually
blonde
Fnatic,
name,
a team
Ari?
that you had mentioned earlier, leading that group, a team that notably got 4th place at our championships and has a lot to prove this time around, certainly doing well, as well as IG International, a team with a LAN winner in JMW who substituted for Dark Zero when they were missing out in Sweden, and now Jin Burton back, obviously has done very well with Graceful, being able to kind of put that team together. I mean, Tiff, this is obviously a lot of teams expected to performing here, so the competition's only getting better.
Yeah, you mentioned Group D. The first thing I saw when I looked at that was there are a lot of edge teams in that group, and I was curious how it was going to start affecting it, because IG is one of the zone teams in the Group D that's stacked, and I was like, okay, if you're saying that they're performing incredibly well, it makes sense, right? They're playing their positioning, they're doing it well, but Fnatic, that is going to be exciting, and I think it's really cool. In the back of my head coming into this, I really wanted an APAC North team to win this at the end of the week. I don't know why, look, I really did, and if my hunches are right, I'm getting a little excited.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure you're going to be happy having something like European take home the championship. I mean, but we had it in North America. That, you know, we expected maybe a TSM, maybe something like that. NRG, there was a lot of talk about Optic, and then all of a sudden, you know, you look at it, it's Dark Zero yet again, which still is undethroned, has not been dethroned from winning and hoisting that trophy as well.
IG are doing well though, so I don't know, home ground advantage.
It's possible for them. I like them. I mean, how about Alliance? Let's talk a little bit more about them. Obviously, that's not necessarily the most positive situation. Quick point on them. How do they turn it around? Is it any ideas?
It's interesting that you know, having a look at those contests that happen throughout scrims and how that's already changed the we're seeing that on LAN. I mean, that last one we saw was honestly one of the most wildest contests I have ever seen. The fact that there was ultimates coming out, the contest went long enough that Horizon got the black hole ready. I mean, that's actually kind of crazy. I mean, these teams have been doing all of their research. I mean, we've had info come out, you know, in the last 6 months, even specifically about where guaranteed weapon spawns are around these POIs, right? And that is something that these teams need to look at to make sure that they can win those contests.
Well, great things to talk about. We still got a couple more games to play. It's day 1 here in our Split 1 playoffs in London. But coming up, we've got 2 more on World's Edge. We'll see you in just a little bit for that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
WD Black is the official storage partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Welcome back, everybody, once again to the ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and good news for you guys, you don't have to wait too long. We're about to get straight into this game. Dan, we've only got 2 left. We've only got 2 left today.
Don't worry, we've got 3 days off.
That's kind of. Oh yeah, we got 3 more days. It's absolutely fine. It's match number 5, and you know what I'm interested in? It's Thermal Station again. Are we going to see the same old battle going down between Flora and Alliance?
I got an answer for you, my friend. Of course we are. Yes, we are indeed. We're going to see these two teams go back and forth once more. So Thermal Station is going to be the focus of attention. The question is, are Alliance going to change up their strategy a little bit? Are they going to give away that high ground? Are they going to try and play a few different angles? Because last time getting trapped on that low ground seemed to hurt them a little bit.
Yeah, inevitably we're going to end up with a fight here, and Alliance have already been able to get a kill here. So this is far better for them. Being able to pick one of these players off means now they can play the game how they want to. They can dictate the pace of this fight. They can push the initiative.
Well, Alliance, they are 1-0 down, we'll say, when it comes to the contest here. Can they tie it up at 1-1, and then when we go to game 3, I'm going to see a last-minute winner down. See what I did? We're in the UK. A bit of a football analogy there.
I hate it. I hate it here, and I want to. No, I love it, and I love it. I'm sure Jay Links will like it as well. But Alliance now, it's a 3 versus 2. They should win, but sometimes that can add extra pressure, right? Sometimes you can maybe get a little bit too antsy. You can push a little bit too quickly. Flora are going to make them wait every second. They are going to try and frustrate them as much as possible, but there will also be the thought process for Flora here of, okay, how do we get Miak back on his feet, right? How do we actually get back to a full 3? Is it possible? And this is why we're seeing Sia utilize with the heartbeat sensor just to get as much information as possible.
Well, the thing is as well, you got to think, if you're Flora right now, you're hoping Alliance make a mistake. If one person walks out a little bit too far, 2v focus fight, you're turning into a 2v2, and all of a sudden the pressure's back on Alliance, right? Just to keep you a little bit more abreast of what's going on in the rest of the map, because last time we completely utterly forgot the zones exist, Dan. We're going to talk about where that zone's going while this fight goes down. It looks like landslide might be an option. Countdown, of course, is going to be there, but a few teams more moving towards staging, which is interesting. Maybe an end towards there.
Here comes Alliance then. They are going to make the push. They are going to make their way up. They don't want to wait any longer. They waited for the death box to be out, and they get involved in the fight, and it should be simple from here. There's a lot of damage. Hackers will get the second knock.
Hackers gets the second one. One player left alive then on this high ground. Alliance looking to answer back, and Yuki looking to join the fight as well. Finish is going to come in as well. That's BM, brother. He's looking for that armor swap. He wants to let them know that this is still Alliance's playground.
They're still alive though. And is managing to get a shield swap, but it looks like it's going to be the end because there are no bullets. You've just got fists left as it is going to be tied up. Alliance, they will win Thermal Station, and it was far quicker this time as well. So now they can start to think about moving towards the circle. It's also a far closer circle than the one before. As you said, people moving towards staging. We've got about 6 or 7 teams that have already rotated early. So this is going to be a good opportunity for those teams dropping in those areas.
Big fight already breaking out as well, and it's involving Moist Esports. You can see it on your screen. And it's SSG who are trying to push them as well. SSG managing to stabilize. They haven't lost a player. Nobody is on their backs for now. And Moist Esports in a lot of trouble here. Just one player left alive.
Yeah, SSG have moved pretty quickly all the way from Lava Fisher as well to make sure they can try and hold down this staging spot. It looks like with the knocks, they should be able to hold this area, but it is going to be a lot of area to try and hold.
Good thing here for Space Station, you're wondering why it's such a popular area here staging. They do have that beacon information as well, so they'll be able to have the info on where that zone is going, which is why you see them in the position they find themselves in. They're trying to get that gen down, trying to find a place to put it where it's not going to be in the line of sight of too many teams, but it's being a little bit fiddly until Frex finally finds somewhere to make it feel comfortable, make it feel at home.
It's going to be difficult for SSG to get any beacon information. Being down here is the issue. Like, they're giving up the height. They are instead playing down low, and in the moment they are setting up for it. But they can comfortably set up. They just need to be very wary of what teams may be arriving after hearing all that emotion. Moist do eventually go down. They tried to escape, but they were quickly eliminated.
Another fight breaking out. TSM making a little bit of a quicker move this time towards the zone. A little bit better prio for them, you could argue. Towards staging. A lot of teams are going to be rotating in front of them, which might even give them that information if they don't have beacon themselves. But Leave No Witness do have a beacon and do have the information on where we're going to be going. So even though you can see Renetricky is very, very low shields at the moment. Priority number 1 is getting out of danger.
Interestingly as well, Pulverex, who drop Harvester, they got out of dodge very quickly, avoided TSM, and now are actually in a position to hold off Alliance down towards Thermal Station. So a very interesting rotation for them, considering they are very zone heavy. It's whether they will actually consider taking the fight versus Alliance, because now Alliance, because the circle is so close to them, Mark, they can afford to be very patient here. They can loot up, they can make sure they're prepared. It hasn't been the best of times so far, but they've still got plenty of time.
Well, Alliance's game plan is never really looking at a zone-based game plan. It's all about picking up KP on edge and trying to force their way in, pinch a couple of teams and kind of weave their way through the traffic, so to speak. So no surprise to see them just taking their time to loot up. making sure that they're ready for those fights when they do break out. But 3 blue shields isn't the best circumstance to find yourself in on Edge at this point in Apex Legends. You usually want to be crafting up to purples, maybe even a red at some point if you can do a little bit of damage. Because if you get towards that end zone and you haven't had the opportunity to do damage, 3 blues, even though maybe a couple of months ago might have seemed quite good, at this point in the game, you're just going to get fried.
And even though we saw a lot of movement in the early stages from these teams and they were trying to get into some of these priority positions you speak of, now we're going to see a minor pause where all teams are going to kind of wait on their rotation, wait for this next zone to finish so you can get beacon information now from Zone 2, preparing for Zone 4, and then you move in. TSM, for example, they are hovering around Harvester because they have a beacon to play around. Alliance, they have one in Thermal Station as well they can utilize. Sure, you're going to take a little bit of tick damage, they've got that in.
प्लेयरहरु बोलेको साउन्ड छैन कि अझै ओरस ल के हो त्यसमा त पिङ पो देखाइरहेछ त माथि सर पिङ बेसी भएको देखे सर हालको को छ हलालहरुको छेउ यहाँ कोही छैन त Horizon र जेजी के हालहरुबाट पुग्छ क्या यो उता जान्दैछ ल यतै फर्किन्छ त्यो जेजी हो रे
See it, ultimate, the exhibit's gone down, that's going to be expended, won't be able to be used again. The question is, does Mimu have his available? And will they be able to get into a position where they may have the advantage in this fight? It looks like the answer is no, because they're backing up, they don't have facilities they want to take this fight, but FC Destroy up on that high ground, the 2 times on the wingman, not quite connecting as yet, but there's a little bit of flesh damage, and from there, now you see the push come in as they've got that knock.
As soon as you get that knock, as soon as you've done that damage, you have to send it in, because you've got to capitalize, you've got to pick up this KP and take advantage of these players that are going to be a little bit weak, and of course on that back foot.
They get the finish, Urban's going to be down. A couple of tough games here for Passion. And now you can see FC Destroy looking to live up to their name and looking to take the last 2 players down to add to that KP tally like you mentioned. This fight is completely and utterly isolated as well. Although you can see Jailings maybe up on the opportunity to sneak up on this fight on the triple stack building, the construction building you can see behind FC Destroy. They have to be extremely aware, and whoever's on Seer, that's going to be Yuka Predator, is going to have to be aware and do that little bit of heartbeat scanning to make sure they don't get caught off guard.
Yeah, I think Zane is trying to slide down the hill at the moment, but he keeps being reeled back by the rest of the team, and they're saying, wait for your moment, and then you can start popping off once
you don't just see what I did in the last
you know what I'm capable of, let me at him. And I think if Jailings are patient here, they might be able to pick up some KP. Elsewhere, Exit have been able to make their way into staging once more. They are under a little bit of pressure here, but it looks like they found their territory.
Great spot for them to play from as well. You can see maybe the zone's going to pull slightly away from them, and they're going to have to make that Valkyrie redeploy into the sky. The Skyward Dive is going to be the next play, and for X8 you can see they're getting a little bit of damage, tick damage from a couple of teams who are hovering in and around. They don't have the beacon information at the moment, but I think from the position they're trying to find, they're going for a beacon themselves. That's where they're going to look to hit this beacon, get new information, and then try and move towards where the majority of the teams are set up.
Also, they've got some ultimate accelerants. It could very easily be a get beacon information, get the ultimate accelerants in, and then you Skyward Dive again once you have that info. So it's smart from Exit here. You don't want to be risking yourselves in a position which is so contested by so many teams. Instead, you put yourselves out of fear at the moment, and you wait.
4K हो क्या 4K यिनीहरुको हामी 1080p मा खेल्छ नि.
You do arrive late, but we've seen what Exit can do. We've seen how successful they are sometimes with their late rotation.
साइकोले त ल एकैचोटी पारी अर्को म्यापमा हाने जति हान्दिरा
त्यही भएन
ठीक छ
हेर्नु न उहाँको देखाएको छ यार अहिले त लाइभमा हेर्दा त हामीले नि देखाएको छौं के सर
They might want to take it. It looks like a little bit of a change of plan here from XZ. Maybe they realize that with the amount of teams that are still alive in this lobby and the beacon information a lot of teams and the fact they haven't seen anyone for so long, they're thinking there's going to be a lot of teams stacked up already inside the stadium. We need to be careful. We need to maybe work our way around the edge of fights ourselves.
And this has been a far slower lobby in terms of team fights that have been happening because
200, 180, 200, 240. 240 भन्दा माथि एपेक्स खेल्नै मिल्दैन.
More predictable circles. You see a lot of teams moving early and actually fighting for their priority positions because they believe they can truly win a game
when they have the read, but without the read,
Competitive लागि राम्रो हैन
people
त्यो.
are trying to avoid those fights. They don't want to be too weak. But speaking of fights, Dreamfire, our previous winners, they're in an engagement again.
Well, it's a wrecking ball on the responding end though, and that's going to slow things down for just a few moments. Bolin has to be very, very careful in this position. We got the R301 in the hands now of Roy, and he's trying to spray, and now the flatline doing damage as well. It's flash damage, but not that knock.
दुनिया
That they're
कुडिरहेछ
so
त्यो.
desperate to try and find, but look at the reset. It's coming in. This team is trapped inside of the building.
Yeah, they are going to be able to trap them, but it's how you want to approach this one. Tao's taking a lot of damage as well. Got to be careful. And there is going to be one knock. Gamewood, they're down to 2, but can they respond?
It looks like they're going to have to just try and survive for now. Aimbot drops down to the low
Royally
ground.
कस्तो लडिरहेछ यो
Cyclops
यस्तो
is going
टिममा
to be finished
ढल्लिरहेछ
off, and that will be them down to just 2. As it looks like Dreamfire have decided, you know what? We're going to try and rotate as well. We're going to just back out this for a few seconds. We see it's a little bit busy. We think we've got the meds to rotate in and through zone. The heartbeat scan is going to go down, and that's going to clear the way for them, knowing that there's no one there, of course, unless they're just crouched in corners, but you wouldn't imagine that would be the case. That's going to give them a lot of cover here, that head glitch, and they should be able to reset safely.
And as you would have heard from Genome on the desk, a slightly different Dreamfire from what we saw during the regular season in terms of the players here today, but they're still finding the same success they had from regular season when it comes to World's Edge. Oh, that's going to be 1 HP, but the nades are starting to fly in. Dreamfire do get their knock onto Fun.
One goes down, Exit trying to reset. They do have the Rolling Thunder that's gone down from the Bangalore though. The ultimate being used, maybe just to buy themselves enough time to get Fun back on his feet and reset, and damage also coming in from different angles. So Exit do get Fun back up. It looks like they're trying to rotate past them, but look at Sykes, he's got that Prowler in his hand once more, and I mentioned how the Prowler is a disgusting weapon at this stage in Apex Legends. The extra little bit of damage being done could make all the difference, but Fun once again finds himself on his knees here.
It's not comfortable for Exet, and it's going to get worse. Passion get eliminated. This kill feed is going to explode in the next 1 minute because there are so many teams on this northern side that are going to try and drop down. Either you've got to slow down, you've got to get over teams, but then you risk just landing into the middle of nothing, the middle of nowhere, the unknown, into no man's land, and then suddenly you are going to be in a spot of honor, or you try and walk your way in. You can already hear the damage ahead of you. You can already hear the gunshots. It's not going to be fun either way.
Thinking of Fun? That's Fun. He's now dead. Game Ward eliminated at the same time. Dreamfire reduced Exet to just 2, and Exet, who have had some fantastic games, 2 wins already today in this A versus B lobby, now have a little bit more of a difficult task ahead of them.
Prowler में select fire आइदियो भने त वास्तवमा
Knock.
पहिलाको जस्तो हैन म आउँदाखेरि बल्ल बल्ल
Dreamfire are going to have to move in on them. The zone is behind them. That's why Exet decided to slide down this hill. They want to try and use the zone to their advantage.
But I will say, Dreamfire, with those changes, they do look a little bit different. They were a very kill-heavy team when it came to World's Edge in regular season, but now, we saw from their victory, they only had 5 kills. Their placement, their position, their rotations have been on point. As 100 Thieves and Alliance, they are very close right now. 100 Thieves, they're knocking on the door.
Leave no witness eliminated. The question is, will it be 100 Thieves or Alliance who might be joining them in just a few moments' time? There's a big shot.
Oh my god,
he takes down Yuki. There's another Vaxalon. One of the standout players of the ALGS Championship says,
Aliens with saws on it.
Blink and you will miss it. Alliance wiped off at World's Edge, and now 100 Thieves have got such a good position.
TSM going to fight for it.
But they can be patient now. Round 3 is closing in 25. 4 teams have got to move from the northern side here. That's where a lot of action is going to be unfolded.
They don't have to do too much. Look at that kill feed again. You can see SSG involved once more, but here TSM, they're on the hunt as well. They're being forced to move. Verhulst is going to take a lot of damage. Black Hole goes down, as does Verhulst. TSM getting sent on at the moment. Even though the Prowler is singing, the song isn't quite in tune. And now Reps is left on his own.
All down to Reps then. A lot to do. The damage has been done elsewhere, and maybe he could be able to escape. But because he pops out, because he shows himself, suddenly he's going to be under fire. And TSM, this could be the end.
Reps manages to get the barrier off, but is he going to be able to find somewhere to play? That's the real question here. Multiple teams are looking at him, but even though he's on M&K, he's saying I can do it as well as the Roller Boys here. A good spray coming in from that flat line.
TSM really looking to try and secure a bit of KP here. Reps desperate to try and get this knock, try and get this finish. Doesn't look like he could do it in the moment. Exet gets eliminated. Remember, they won back-to-back games on Storm Point. Haven't been able to find the same success here on World's Edge. As for TSM, 10th place at the moment. They haven't really been able to find the same success from earlier. 100 Thieves though! Come in! Dreamfire, white!
Vaxalon is decimating people with this Peacekeeper at the moment. Big numbers.
every single time you pulls the trigger. I tell you what, I'm a purist, Dan. I love some big shots from the Peacekeeper.
They just hit so hard and the rumbles around the arena. The base feels so good when they connect as well. 10 teams
TSM
left.
one
TSM do finally get wiped out. Unfortunately, Reps was not able to get a little bit of a Hail Mary play in those final moments. So now we're down to our last 10. It means a lot of these...
Danger close.
TSM equals to that socks made that is
wait for those teams to engage and have to fall into their reticles. Northception, of course, winner of our game a little bit earlier on today on Stormpoint. After winning most of that engagement, you'd say they got the advantage over TSM for sure, getting those couple of knocks. Now have to make their way in, and with round 4 closing, and that ring about to start singeing away at their backs, they've got to make the play.
And as you can see, Godfire, one of the better positions. SSG still in an amazing spot as well, but there's so many teams moving from this western side. But look at Jay Lings and the southeast side just sneaking into the circle now as Northception with the wingman. That is heavy shots.
Heavy damage coming in. SSG now making their move as well. They're going to be playing under this bridge. Pretty sure that's 100 Thieves there. On the other side, SSG looking to do some damage, and as this zone starts to close, they jump into a listening now with Space Station.
No one's west of us.
Listen, they hit my fence, they hit my
Jump
fence up, they hit my fence up.
grapple वर्थे jump bande grapple वर्थे
Yes.
They're gonna be getting angled.
Listen, look for anyone that drops here. They're getting bang ulted here. Somebody might drop here.
Someone drop on me, on me.
Okay, drop, go.
He's one.
Another one, crack.
Oh my god.
One. Nice. I'm gonna try and go back up.
Yeah, I'm just watching.
One no HP आने रहने के
We just play under bridge. We play under bridge here.
I'm gonna loot that.
Wait,
yeah, loot it.
Bro,
I'm just gonna loot it.
I'm gonna something, bro. No cap.
No, chill, bro, chill. Are they fighting at the fucking crane?
Hard fighting here.
और कॉड गया सर
I'm going back up.
Listen,
Getting shit on here.
Yes, sir.
One jump right here. Jump.
Yeah, bro, they're rising above me. I can cancel res.
Twitch है ना मलाई.
Where are they?
Above me at the cart.
How do we get there, bro?
He's zipping.
म टाढा भएर अड्किन्छ क्या तेरो.
Fine. I'm just coming down.
This guy's a
त्यस्तो
solo.
हुन्न सर.
Okay.
I'm coming, bro.
He got a re-45.
I have an ult cell if you need it.
Yeah, I do.
Timing.
I'm dropping it on the
Got
ground.
a re-45 रे.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh my god.
He died.
वो उछिड्यो.
Alright, well this team above us is gonna push us.
Yeah.
Like, I low-key think we need to play for
re-45
fucking... Do we need to play for the height of the bridge or no?
I don't know if we can,
गेम
bro.
में RE45 बन जाए.
I'm queuing this guy. This guy
re-45 रे.
They're not even on the fucking second level. We can play second level.
We can hear the intensity here from SSG, and that's because we are down now to our final 5 squads. 5 squads remaining in this lobby down a massive moment forward.
And it was always my worry with the placement of SSG. They were down low. They can't really regain height. So they're going to have to try and force their way either just underneath and through, which means so vulnerable to these teams on the bridge, or they have to go for that risky play of taking the bridge off of 2 teams, which would be near impossible considering they would be watched from both angles. I will say, at the moment, Godfire in the best position of this game.
But on their back, guess who? It's Jaylings, and Jaylings look like they're about to make their move as well as Northception now go down to the low ground. Wingman starting to hit some shots as well, coming in from Tide. He's already hit some big damage himself, but now they're getting pushed and they're going to have one on their back.
Do SSG try and get involved in this one? Yes, they will. Northception, they're going to be down to 2, make it 1, and now you've got to try and do desperate things similar to what Zayn was able to do earlier. SSG still at full 3, and SSG will be delighted with this. They played it perfectly.
They're going to drop and they're going to get these KP as well. SSG pick up more. Horizon out of the game. We're down to 4, and that battle we talked about, Dan, is starting to break out as well up on that high ground.
Northception, they escape. One does, and will still be alive, will still be a solo, will be a rat to make things awkward. Godfire, they push out. Jaylings have lost 1, and now Godfire in one of the most commanding positions in this game.
They've held this position for so long here, Godfire. You can see Watson fences down. They've got the gen as well. That zone is going to close, and they are going to be safe for quite some time. The question is, are they aware of the position here of SSG? Do they know they have that ramp? And more importantly, Dan, that head glitch to play from.
Remember, Godfire drop here at staging. This is their home territory. They would have played this circle 1,000 times and know exactly what to do. You will notice though, J-Lings back up to a full 3. Fantastic news for them. And still, one member left of Northeption here, really to try and throw a spanner in the works.
Question is, who is going to have to move first? Because even though J-Lings are down on that low ground, they've got the Horizon Q available, the Gravitational lift, the way to get from low to high, Dan. They can wait for the damage to be done and then pounce. Space Station got some decisions to make here, and one of them is going to be swapping out weapons for ammo.
I mean, the fact that we have a rat at 4th, but never mind, doesn't matter. 3 squads are remaining. Now suddenly it really is about who is forced to move first. Space Station can try and dictate the pace a little bit. They have fences to force people away. J-Lings are down low. That is going to be tough for them to try and regain height, but Horizon will be able to do that for them.
They're going to wait for that damage, maybe wait for some knocks. SSG are aware of the position, and maybe they've realized we've got to try and fight this. We've got to play for the KP. Nades are going to go in here. They're going to use the exhibit as well to light them up. The wall hacks are in, boys. Zenial, he's going to be hitting some good shots as well. 85 damage, but no crack on the shield.
Godfire's home is under attack.
Wall hacks are in.
Space Station, they take a breath. Still, J-Lings waiting in the wings, waiting for that knock, waiting to get involved.
Snakes in the grass at J-Lings. Just waiting for that opportunity. The EMP comes in as well. That's not going to only destroy the fences. They're going to mean they're going to send it here. Frex is going to almost get one. Drops his gun straight out. But where is J-Lings in all of this? Here at J-Lings. Welcome to the party, boys. Perfectly.
It was a solo effort in the previous game, but it was very much a team effort here in game number 5 as J-Lings find their victory. They took their moment, they waited the perfect amount of time before they full sent it. It was just a matter of time before they got the victory. As soon as they lifted up, as soon as they saw the damage that was unfolding. And remember, they were knocked down to 2 for a short while. Getting up to 3, getting on the low ground very much helped them.
What a pickup this has been for J-Lings Esports, I tell you, picking up the players at just the right time. And they're starting to perform here, Dan, at just the right time.